his hand, don't be mistaken. I believe in peace, but I won't be taken. I will not submit to authoritative man. I'm ready to die, but not for a lie. See the signs appear, it's gonna happen here.
This is Liberty Underground with Alex Snicker, Danielle Alexandra, and Greg Bowen on the 1787 Radio Network.
Well, good morning, Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, the entire state of Arizona, everybody down in Sao Paulo, Mexico, everybody hanging out in Uruguay, everybody hanging over there in Baghdad. Keep your head down. Keep your head down, by the way, over there.
Just get out.
Or stay away from the knives, because they might behead you. This is Alex, co-host, Liberty Underground, along with me. The Duchess of Doing Stuff, a woman that has more jobs than the Wayans, and does all of them in a very excellent manner. She's Tribley's favorite libertarian, along with all of Hernando County, as well as other places. She's also their favorite as well. Her name is Danielle Alexandra. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
You're doing better than me, man. You got sick at the same time, too, and it seems like you're able to make it through it because you claim to be a vegetarian.
Well, I am a vegetarian. You would know that.
Well, you claim to
You
be.
get very frustrated when I go, I can't eat anything there.
But the good thing is that makes it so like you don't get sick as long.
Right. I tend to, even though I haven't been very good about, working out and things like that, I still stay relatively healthy when illnesses come around. I'll get it for a few hours, which yesterday I did feel pretty horrible around lunchtime. I slept for a little bit, and then I was all right.
Good for you. Also with us is Greg Bowen. You know what? I don't know how many people are interstellar travelers here. But in the Alpha Centauri galaxy, there is a planet known as the Sinister. And that planet is a constitutional, like a constitutional republic, kind of like America, except for, they haven't violated all their constitutional rights yet. But they do, instead of having a president there, I don't know if you know this or not, they have a prime minister. So Greg Bowen actually was elected last year as the prime minister of the Sinister, of the planet the Sinister in the Alpha Centauri galaxy. Greg, how are you doing, sir?
Spectacular.
Thank you for making the trip all the way here well, you have light speed, so it's not like it's a big thing, but
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, though.
Absolutely.
You still didn't think I had nowhere else to go. You're like, on Friday's show, where is he going to go after this one? And
it went even further.
I went down it even more.
It became intergalactic.
It became intergalactic, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
No, that's awesome.
That's America, is what that is.
That's the Milky Way.
That's the Milky Way. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. I myself am sick, but I am going to try to make it through it, though, because I realize the importance of this show, and we weren't here last week, which kind of sucked, because I like being here. But we're going to go down it. The first subject that we're bringing up today, there's a lot of stuff we got to bring up today. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. You know what the theme of the show should be? What? I told you so.
Well, that actually could be the theme of the show. And in all honesty, I have now noticed as I was trying to organize the show prep into something that would make sense, is there are so many important things to talk about and not enough time to do it.
Yeah, but we're going to get right into it, though. Into the deal. Right into the deal. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a local subject that definitely does have a national influence, though, and that is the case of Martin Winters. I don't know for sure if you know about Martin Winters or not, but Martin Winters was a guy who is in the Valrico area, and what Martin has done is he is a prepper. Now, if you've listened to this show for an extended period of time, we did a 4-part series on prepping and to show you how the government could be coming after you because you are a prepper. Well, Martin Winters had a prepping group. There was a group of people over there that were prepping. Now, in addition to prepping, Martin Winters also fed his neighbors with the extra food that he had. The neighbors actually liked the guy a whole lot. The neighbors seemed to be big fans of this guy. They thought of him as a community leader, somebody that was very good. But Martin was a prepper because he did feel that the end of times were coming. Now, I didn't talk to Martin Winters, so I don't know this part of it. But I do believe that one of the things that Martin Winters believed, though, is that he was a man of faith, and he thought that the end of times are coming as far as people of faith are going. And so he thinks, God basically said that, that has prophesized on this and that it's coming. That's irrelevant, by the way. It's a red herring to the whole thing. And the media has used that as a way in which to demonize the guy. However, it doesn't change the fact that you can't go to jail for believing that the end of times are coming. Well, I say that, and this guy's sitting in jail.
No, you are actually incorrect. Someone is sitting in jail because they thought the end of times were coming.
Now, in with this, there was an FBI guy who was a infiltrator. So he went into this group, he infiltrated into this group, and he started looking around and asking questions and trying to find something to get these guys on. Because, the fact that you're prepping raised such a red flag that it required the FBI to come down here and infiltrate your group. One of the reasons why we shouldn't be giving the government a whole bunch of money, by the way, because they can waste money on crap like this. But irrelevant for the matter of the day. So the FBI goes in there, and I guess, and again, we don't know exactly what was said. The only thing we can base it off of is the indictment itself, on what the indictment says this guy did, because you only base it off of that. You can't base it off of nothing else.
Right.
Everything else is just hearsay, because if it was really that true, then they put it in the indictment. They did knowingly, in the indictment, what he basically is, aiding and abetting one another, did knowingly make firearms, to wit, 5 destructive devices, which are weapons that will expel a projectile by the action of an explosive or other propellant. You mean like the military has grenades?
No. Keep reading, because this is not even as bad as a grenade.
Yeah, the barrel of which has a bore of more than 1/2 inch in diameter, as defined under Title 26, United States Code, Section 545, A8 and F2, without obtaining approval from the Secretary of the Treasury to make and register the firearm as required by Title 26. So because you made something that you didn't get permission to, that was the reason. Count 2.
Hold on, and each count is actually exactly the same. It's 5 counts of the same thing. But basically what this is, and if you think about what a firearm is, a destructive device that expels a projectile by the action of an explosive or other propellant, gunpowder, that has a barrel which has a bore of more than 1.5 inch in diameter. Now, if you take your average shotgun and just, measure the hole, the opening where the bullet comes out, it's more than 1/2 inch. So this is literally, he manufactured his own weapons. He manufactured his own guns. These were not explosives, but what the federal government deems as an explosive is very similar to what we would buy in the store as a shotgun.
Yes, because shotguns are illegal, in case you didn't know. Well, so what did the government do in response to this guy? Now, again, they're claiming that he has said that he is going to shoot federal agents and that he's going to set up booby traps on his property and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, like I said, let's get to the other part of it, so let's tell both at the same time. Meanwhile, this guy makes excess food and feeds his neighbors. How do we know this? We know one of the neighbors.
Right.
The rest of the neighborhood and the community felt that this guy was a good guy. As a matter of fact, I think last night or the night before, they had the neighbors had a vigil for the release of this guy. So they come, and they're coming to talk to this guy. Now, this guy in his vehicle, when they were coming to get him, had grandkids with him. Again, because the daughter didn't think that the guy was a danger, she let her grandkids with him. She might be a little more hesitant now because of the government. However, we'll just go with the way it is right now. He, not having any faith or trust in the government whatsoever, who could blame him, books out of there. Says, I'm getting out of there. And I think that what the guy did, based off his next actions, I think, though, I think the reason the guy did this was, I think he feared for his kids' safety, or for his grandkids' safety. I think that's why he booked out. Now, they're like, the media is not telling you that part, of course, scumbags. But this guy books out. Then 2 days later, he voluntarily goes to the FBI headquarters. Now, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm kind of skipping around a little bit here. They bring everything with them, the FBI does, to try to get this guy. They got SWAT. They got helicopters. They got all this other trash coming around. They are coming like this guy's, like it's Waco.
And it's a manhunt.
Yeah, and it's a manhunt. They call it a manhunt. And again, the FBI is telling the media a bunch of lies, like things that aren't true, things that they can't prove. And they're doing it to create the narrative that this guy is some kind of a dangerous human being. Again, remember, he fed his neighbors, pricks. He gave them food for free. He was a part of his community. Now, he wanted to prepare. Who could blame him considering what you people have done? But irregardless, I'm not going to get mad just yet. He goes there with 2 lawyers and turns himself in. And they hold him without bail. Again, his charges. What are his charges again, Danielle?
He has 5 separate counts of having basically a homemade firearm without permission from the Secretary of Treasury.
That's enough now to where you can't even get out of jail. Did he harm anybody, Danielle?
No.
Has he infringed on anybody's rights, Danielle?
No.
Has he been an a-hole of a person to his neighbors?
No, the exact opposite.
Has he been a shut-in?
No.
Has he said anything publicly that was a violent threat?
No.
The only thing that he's done is that the claim of the FBI, who is an untrustworthy organization in and of itself, who's going to trust these guys? They're lying about everything left and right anyway. And then they're lying to get into the building, into this guy's group. Remember, these guys got there based off of fraud. The lie began with the FBI. Not with this guy, with the FBI. So how can you even trust anything they got to say anyway? But irregardless, this guy committed no crime in reality. Committed no crime. Because I don't think they've even found proof of the stuff that they're talking about.
There was no proof of any booby traps or anything like that. It was just these, what they're calling, they call it a destructive device. But when you look at what they're considering a destructive device, and even in the media reports, it says a destructive device that was created to expel bullets.
Yeah.
You mean like a gun?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the Hillsborough County Sheriff just lays down anyway, like a bitch, and just lets the feds just do whatever. So, Sheriff David G, be honest with you, you have no spine whatsoever. You're a subhuman being. You're a little girl who just lets the FBI do whatever they want to without realizing that you have a constitutional authority to protect the citizens of your county, which you have failed to do. Not woman, but. Honestly, that's an insult to women because this guy's worse than that. Cockroach is what he is. So, the sheriff doesn't do anything for this thing. The FBI runs their stuff. They've been doing it for days. And then they harass everybody in the neighborhood. Everybody in their neighborhood, the FBI is just harassing. They close the thing down. They're asking everybody questions they shouldn't be asking people and all this other kind of crap.
They made it very difficult to come in and out of their own homes for a few days. Most of the neighbors were being told that they couldn't leave. If they demanded that, well, no, I have to leave. I have places to be. They were told that, well, unless your ID matches the address, we're not going to let you back. So leave at your own risk. And I mean, they really were trying to deter people from even leaving their homes for several days.
Because of a guy that is accused of making guns.
And a guy that had been feeding these same neighbors for all the time. They were used to waking up, going to this table that he had out. He was providing them milk and eggs and produce from his farm. There was people that were coming there and donating money. If you would give him a little money, he'd say, take enough for your family for the week. I mean, he was... And when you didn't have money, he would just say, take enough for the day. Tomorrow there'll be more. And was literally feeding people who could not afford or were helping people that were in downtimes to feed themselves.
Yeah. And the government hates it when they have competition for people trying to help one another. I mean, honestly, this guy probably got arrested for that. Is probably what he got arrested for. That's why the government didn't want him to be there in any shape, manner, or form. However, so they've now arrested him. So they now arrested the guy, and he's in jail. They're going to have a trial. I actually think that the FBI doesn't have a case on this cat, and he's going to get away with it. He's going to be found not guilty. because the dude walked in with 2 lawyers. He's like, okay, you know what? I know what's going on here. I know what's going on here. I mean, Johnny Cochran ain't alive anymore, but you know, they're bringing in some. He's got some different people. He's got Philip Cochran, Johnny's little brother. I don't know if he's got Philip Cochran or not. I don't even know if there is a Philip Cochran.
Yeah, we have no idea. But listen, this guy was found not found, but his daughter picked him up right near his house. I mean, the guy didn't go far, which shows the ineptitude of the FBI, by the way.
Oh, by the way, somebody, hold on. I want you to answer this question before you continue.
I know the question, and I'm going to get there.
Okay.
But they found him right near his house. And what the FBI is claiming and why they're trying to scare the public into believing that he's a dangerous man is that they're saying he had this elaborate plan to kill government agents. Well, that's a little misnomer, too, because he didn't have this elaborate plan to go out to government buildings and kill people. He had a plan that if people came to his home to infringe on his rights, he had a plan to protect himself, which is a lot different than the way they make it sound. They make it sound, and this is what they said. He had an elaborate plan to kill government agents in the event that they raided his property. Well, that's not an elaborate plan to kill people. That's a plan to protect yourself if people come after you. So even the narrative is very different. They're really trying to scare people into believing one thing. But when you kind of look at the words that they're using, it's not as scary as they're making it sound.
It's like his elaborate escape where he got 400 yards away.
Yeah. Yeah,
This
exactly.
manhunt that they needed when he was probably on his own property. But even that, and we had, the sheriff in the area, the Hillsborough County Sheriff, who was asked by a few people. And when they were, when the sheriff's department was asked if the FBI had asked them permission and if they had given permission for the FBI to be there, all of the people were told that the FBI can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Which is not actually the case. The FBI does not have supremacy over anything, especially in a situation where someone is going to be arrested or a search warrant or any kind of warrant is going to be served. The FBI actually does not have the authority to come with anywhere within the state and do that. They have to have the assistance of the county sheriff. They have to have permission from the county sheriff. So, so they don't, without that permission, they actually cannot come in because they have to, they don't actually have supremacy like the sheriff thought they did. When the sheriff says, well, they can do whatever they want, that's actually incorrect. They cannot do whatever they want. They can only do what the sheriff allows. This sheriff didn't know his role, and he was allowing them to do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, yeah. And the reason why is the sheriff is the most powerful law enforcement agent in your county.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, they're your last line of defense against the state and the federal government. The sheriff takes an oath to the Constitution, and it's his prerogative, even with a state law, the sheriff has prerogative whether to arrest or not arrest. So even if someone breaks a state law, the sheriff can say, no, we don't arrest for that, and the state can't do anything about it. The same with the federal government. The federal government can say they broke a law, you need to go arrest them, and the sheriff can say no.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what's going on currently with the Martin Winters case. And again, the FBI, you know what? I hope when you people meet your maker that you're able to explain yourselves. Because I don't think you're going to be able to do this. I think that the FBI agents that were there that did this, you people are scumbags. You are the lowest form of life on earth. And that I think that you know that this is wrong, and yet you continue to do it. You're violating the rights of citizens, and I don't know why you're doing this. However, at the end of the day, you're doing what you're doing. It's only going to cause you more hate and discontent anyway. It's just the way it is. This guy is going to be found not guilty. We fully support this guy, stand behind him. I hope and pray for the best for the guy, and I hope that it all works out. So,
yeah, no, I think that there was especially a gross overreaction over what he's done. I get that they may have a law that you can't create these weapons without permission, but at the end of the day, he wasn't trying to harm anyone. He was keeping these literally on his own property to protect himself and his own property. He didn't have an elaborate plan where he was going to be some, mass killer of people. He just wanted to protect himself.
Yep, exactly. But then again, we have a government that doesn't know how to keep its nose out of people's businesses, either here domestically or in foreign policy wise. I mean, it happens both ways, to be honest with you.
You know, I can say that Martin Winters probably was not trained by our own government. He's probably on his own for training. We like to train people in other countries.
Yeah. Look, there is a lot going on right now in the Middle East right now, but there is a large amount that needs to be understood about the actions in the Middle East before we got to explain this one and then give you our take on it after we explain it all, because there's a lot of moving parts here. But before we get to that, Greg, who was on the phone?
Gentleman asking what time the show airs on the radio.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's in Pinellas.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just curious on what was causing all of this.
There's a whole lot of commotion.
You were
there
saying
for
a bunch of
while.
information that I was like, what the hell is he talking about? All right, so
People want to listen to the show, man.
I hear you, man.
No, and
Good
point
for
him in the
them.
right direction.
Good for them. Good for them. Good for them. All right, so Iraq. Again, I hate to say we told you so. Let me give you the first told you so. When it comes to the Martin Winters thing, I hate to say we told you so, but prepping in our 4-part series showed that you could have the FBI at your door. We told you so.
Yeah.
Second, we told you so, Iraq. Look, it was a mistake to go into Iraq to begin with. A lot of people were for the war that are now against the war, that believe it instead of like the fake ones. And then you have the neocons, the Trotskyites. Going into Iraq was a bad idea. One, because look, there was no weapons of mass destruction there. Two, Saddam Hussein didn't have anything to do with Iraq in and of it, or didn't have anything to do with 9/11 at all. And three, you really geek stuff up, and looking long term now, you've really geeked some stuff up in the Middle East by doing what you did. And not to mention, maybe you shouldn't have propped this guy up to begin with, because I can remember a picture of Donald Rumsfeld shaking hands with Saddam Hussein, probably with an invoice for the weapons that you were selling him.
That's why we knew they were there.
Yeah, that's why we knew stuff. We sold him the damn weapons. But irrelevant.
You know, I'm surprised that we didn't find them, because I bet you that there was people in Washington, D.C. going, but I know we sold them to him. What did he do with them?
Yeah.
Well, he used them, and we didn't care when he did it.
Yeah.
When he gassed the Kurds with the gas that we sold him in the 80s, we didn't care. When he started messing with the flow of oil, all of a sudden we cared.
Exactly. It had everything to do with oil. However, you got to understand what happened in the past to understand the next point moving forward, which is the part that Rumsfeld and Darth Vader Cheney and John Bolton, scumbag, none of these people want to talk about, really, though. They don't want to talk about the truth. And the truth is this. We invaded there again. And there was a little graphic, basically, that there's Sunnis and Shias. This whole fight in the Middle East is Sunnis and Shias, basically.
And has been for at least a century.
Yeah, it has been for a long, long time. This is about Sunnis and Shias. It doesn't have anything to do with us. It has to do with Sunnis and Shias.
Unless you happen to be a Sunni or Shia, and then it may have something to do with you.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anybody in this room that is either one of those things, so I think we're safe in
I'm
saying
just saying
that
in the
us.
listening audience, you never know.
Yeah. If you got some Sunnis or Shias, you may have some problems. And if you guys are fighting, then screw you. I hope you guys shoot each other, for Pete's sake. But at any rate, so what's going on now is let me back up a little bit here. Let's start with the new. Into the new thing here. Should we start at Syria? That almost seems like it makes sense to start at Syria.
Well, you almost have to, because that's how you get this problem, is because of Syria.
Okay, so we're going to back out of Iraq. And the one thing that everybody's giving Obama crap for right now, that the neocons are giving Obama crap for, is about leaving all the troops out of Iraq. The part that these lying scumbags, and again, Obama's a lying scumbag too, so I don't like Obama any more than I like the neocons. But what the neocons failed to tell you is Obama tried to keep troops in Iraq, and the Iraqis said no.
Right. They threw them out.
They threw them out, basically. So, you can't get mad at Obama.
I mean, I guess we could have just kept going to war with them and saying, no, our troops have to stay here.
Yeah. And in all honesty, I actually think now, and again, this is going to be a wild conspiracy theory, so you're going to have to hold me on this one. I actually think that the neocons, because of what Iraq did, wanted to fund ISIS to go in there and mess them up, to be able to prove that, yeah, we need to go back in there. I actually think the neocons might have had something to do with this. Again, John McCain just takes selfies with them. I mean, You know, Operation was it Operation Ajax or something like that? I don't remember the operation, but
there is a picture of John McCain with what is essentially ISIS now.
Yeah. So what we did is that there was guys that were fighting Ashar al-Assad or whatever that guy's name is over in Syria, the president of Syria, who's not a good guy, by the way. He's fighting those guys. So what do? We arm the guys that are fighting those guys. There was a secret base in Jordan. It's all come out. It's all on record. It's all well documented. They're actually fighting. They're actually going to fight al-Assad, right? So we go in there, train them, and equip them. One of the reasons that Benghazi went down the way it is that was one of the places that we were having some of these weapons at to go give to these guys. Benghazi is part of this. Mm-hmm. All this stuff is wrapped in together. It's like the Matrix. All this stuff is wrapped in together. So we train them in Iraq or in Syria.
And then give them weapons.
What do they do with those weapons?
Nothing could possibly go wrong with this.
Exactly. What could go wrong? So what happens is that these guys take these weapons and go into Iraq. Now, we spent billions of dollars training the Iraqi military. Unfortunately, we weren't buying spines with it. We spent $4 billion, didn't buy one spine. These dudes drop their weapons, take their uniforms off, and run. So what have we done? So we train these guys and equip them a little bit on what they can do in Syria. And we leave them, and the Iraqi army, thanks to the Iraqi army, leaves them a trail of Humvees, missiles,
tanks,
M16s, whatever.
And uniforms.
All up and down the sideline, all up and down the countryside, going into Baghdad. So these guys aren't even having problems advancing. They're getting re-equipped by the Iraqi army because they left their crap there.
So like when
in Humvees, in American Humvees.
When they were like, oh man, we're running out of some of those American bullets. Damn it, what are we going to do? Oh look, there's a tank. We're saved. Oh, those nice Americans.
Don't worry, we never run out of bullets. We'll keep supplying.
Yeah. Now, so Baghdad's about to fall. Now, the other part about it is that the ISIS group is funded by the Saudis.
Right.
Who are supposed to be on our side. Oh, remember 9/11? Yeah, the Saudis were financing those guys, too.
No, the Saudis are our friends, Alex.
Yeah, no, they're not. No, they're not. No, not even close. So, now the Saudis are funding the ISIS guys to go into Baghdad, basically.
Right.
And we are now going to be teaming up with the Iranians to protect Baghdad. Bonkers, folks. Foreign policy bonkers. And here's the thing. You can call me an isolationist. You can call me Neville Chamberlain. You can call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. I really don't at this point. But if you are advocating that we get any more involved in Iraq, I'm going to punch you in the face. We cannot lose any more American lives over there. And I know that Becky went all non-intervention on us now. God, boy, it would be nice if you'd done that crap in 08 or even in 12, for that matter.
Or last week.
Yeah, or last week.
Let's see if it lasts till next week.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, honestly, because you were the guy arguing about the damn caliphate and that we needed to be over there for the damn caliphate. Now all of a sudden it's not one more life, not one more life. Yeah, you're right. I understand. Thank you. Welcome over to our side. Hopefully you stay this time.
Well, I mean, wasn't he advocating for us going into Syria because of all the atrocities on the people?
I don't know. I don't think he was. I don't want to think. I don't want to say that. I don't think he was.
I can't say 100% because I don't listen to him religiously.
But I
actually thought he was one of the voices that was saying we shouldn't go in there.
Maybe he was, but I do know that many people were saying, "Oh, we have to go into Syria. The atrocities that al-Assad is performing on his people, like we have to save them." Yeah, and because of that, now we have a problem in Iraq, which now you're saying, well, we have to go to Iraq because these people are fighting and we have to save them. We're just arming people who aren't going to stop fighting, and they're not going to stop fighting, not because of America or because of any other country. It's because they fundamentally have a hatred towards these different tribes. There's many different tribes in the area in the Middle East, and they hate each other. And no matter how many people we arm or how many people we take sides with, they're all going to keep fighting. And now all of their weapons keep getting better because they're stamped with made in the USA.
Yeah, because we keep giving them all the weapons, like we did to Iraq and Iran in the 80s when they were fighting each other. We equipped both sides. Remember Iran-Contra? Again, We have been proven right if you are a non-interventionist. If you say that we shouldn't be involved in these things, you've been proven right. Just like we don't want the government intervening domestically on things that are domestic issues because we don't like the ramifications of those actions because they never end well, no matter how good your intentions are. Foreign policy is the same thing. Is that I don't care how good your intentions are, you don't understand those people, and those people in all essence don't want freedom. They don't want it. I'm sorry, they're not buying. Now John Bolton and the other neocon pricks are going to go, well, that means you wanted to keep a dictator in charge. That guy wouldn't have been in charge if you wouldn't have been friggin' funding him. Don't blame Saddam Hussein on us, asshole. It's not our fault. It's your fault. It's your foreign policy's fault. It's Don Rumsfeld's fault. It's damn Dick Cheney's fault. Little Satan-looking bastard.
It's just that we keep, we keep going from place to place to place, arming people, training them because their opposition is so much worse. But then they become the worst ones when they go oppress another country. We're literally arming and training the oppressors of another place. And then we go, we have to do something. They're oppressing those people. This is going to keep going because it is a cultural issue in the region.
And part of the problem is they don't recognize these borders the way we do.
Right.
We force these borders on them. They never wanted them. They never accepted them. They got these borders when Great Britain, the United States, France, and everyone else in the League of Nations betrayed them. Mm-hmm. We have betrayed the people of the Middle East from the beginning. Since the fall of the Ottoman Empire, we have done nothing but screw these people over. We have lied to them. We have reneged on every deal we have offered them. And all we do is kill them and take their treasure. There is no reason for them to trust us. There is no reason for them to recognize our borders. As long as they have borders that we impose on them that they don't feel are necessary, we are going to continue to have these problems. When we're saying the people of Iraq are fighting against people from Syria, they don't care. They are Sunnis. They are Shiites. They are whatever tribe they are a member of, whatever culture they are a member of. That is what they are fighting for. The imaginary line in the sand that we told them to recognize is irrelevant.
Right. Yeah, that whole, they're Syrians and they're Iraqis and they're Iranians and they're Saudis. Listen, they still identify with their tribes.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, their loyalty lies to their religion above their country.
Yeah.
That is why there was a giant Islamic empire that constituted all of that land. Mm-hmm. That's what the Ottoman Empire was. That's what they would really prefer. The vast majority of the people in the Middle East would prefer one single Arab empire.
Right. And then they would have their little pockets of each of their tribes.
Exactly. They would have local governance under one Islamic empire.
And at the end of the day, I don't live over there. I don't care what they do. We need to get out. Look, our intervention, while it is not, look, they would have been fighting whether we would have been over there intervening or not. So let me just say that. They'd have been fighting either way. But we didn't add to that. Well, we didn't stop it.
We certainly added to it.
We've certainly added to it.
Well, here's the thing. I think the way in which you could say we added to it is we gave them a lot better equipment to do it.
Right.
It's like two guys fighting with rocks and be like, no, don't use the rocks. Here, let me give you a gun.
Well, no, and it's like giving one side a gun. And then someone else stepping in and saying, wait, that's not right. And then saying, well, we must give this other side a gun over here. And look at this fourth man that's now come in. Well, he needs a gun because these two people are going to kill each other.
Yeah, at least we do try to equip both sides equally. I will give them that. But the problem with Iraq is that this was going to happen irregardless. Now the neocons like Dick Cheney and them are going, this thing is going to go bad and it's Obama's fault because he took the troops out. Look, unless you were going to keep the troops there in perpetuity, this was always going to happen at the point that you actually bring the troops out. No matter what, this is going to happen because this thing needs to be settled. And it's not settled right now because it's being controlled by groups that aren't necessarily the ones that are going to settle this thing when those people leave.
Well, and the one big thing, and this did upset me, is, you have Obama came on earlier in the week and said, we're not going to have any boots on the ground. There's in no way are we going to have boots on the ground. And then a couple
That's how
days
you knew
later,
there was going to be boots on the ground.
right? And then a couple days later, it was like, well, we're going to send 275 people there. And, well, okay, now they're going to need some advisors, so it's going to be 300. So this no boots on the ground, well, except for those 275, well, and now we need to make it 300, is going to quickly increase to, well, we're just not going to have like thousands of troops on the ground.
Hundreds.
Well, yeah, then we're not going to have tens of thousands of troops. And hey, you know what? We're not getting to 100,000, I promise.
And we don't have to declare war because this is just a police action.
Yeah. So the problem here, and what really makes me upset right now, and this is what really angers me, is that people like Dick Cheney have the nerve to come out with his, disgusting evil daughter, and then as a family unit, like sitting on the couch, like, let's do interviews where the two of us are together, sitting on the couch and talking about this. Maybe in case Dick Cheney like falls over and dies right there, which
I mean, it is
God,
a possibility.
I wouldn't want to see that happen.
And he's getting up there in age.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying.
So now they go on air and they're talking all bad about Obama and how we need to get involved in Iraq. Now, here's the thing. Dick Cheney and your daughter, you want to get involved in Iraq. John Bolton, you want to get involved in Iraq. Bill Kristol, you want to get involved in Iraq. McCain and Graham, you guys want to get involved in Iraq. It sounds to me like y'all got enough to about, at least for a squad. An extended fire team or maybe a squad. I'll listen to what you have to say when you put a freaking uniform on and you go over there and you stand a post. When you do that, you chicken hawk scumbags, when you do that, that's when I'll understand something. Until then, I don't give a crap what you people should have to say. You should be in a hole right now. You should be in jail right now for traitor actions on this country, for being a traitor to this republic. You should be in a hole. John Bolton and your stupid freaking mustache, you should be in a hole. And you should have to shave that crap off. They should make you shave it off. I can't believe that you people have the nerve, as badly as you screwed this country over, because you people brought us Obama. As badly as you've screwed this country over, that you have the balls to come on TV and say anything right now other than I'm sorry, is a problem.
I will take advisors going over to Iraq if those advisors are Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, Lindsey Graham, John McCain. Those are the advisors we should be sending.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go with those.
You know who you're not hearing from, though? Bush.
Well,
Oh, no.
he's certainly had. I don't think he wants to have his name further associated with this mess any
No.
more than it already has been.
Yeah, but he still goes out. Again, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The one thing he does is he still calls the people that are coming home. He still visits them.
He writes them each
He
a
still visits the
personalized
troops.
letter.
He writes them himself. He goes biking with the guys. He dedicates himself to these troops that are coming home. And he was wrong in his decisions. But I will tell you this, though. I don't put him on the same level of evil that I put Cheney and Rumsfeld on. Not
Right.
even close.
Because
either.
if nothing else, he is at least not making things worse.
Right.
Yeah, he's staying quiet, which honestly, at this point, I really think I wish Dick Cheney would follow his lead and shut his hole.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I need is that dumb bastard to start running his mouth again. Because he should not be running his mouth on anything. This guy is the cause of hundreds of thousands of people that are dead now. That are dead. John Bolton, another one. The blood on this stuff is on their hands. And they still didn't get Bin Laden. Look, I didn't want to hear about it, by the way, from Dick Cheney. You didn't get Bin Laden. You didn't get him.
But he got rich off the war that was looking for
Yeah,
him.
but you got rich off the war that was like, again, here's the thing. If you really are true to your convictions there, then take every damn dime you've ever made off of Halliburton stock and just give that money to the poor or something. Do something with it if you really feel that way. You bloodthirsty. Oh, I hate Dick Cheney. Oh, I hate these guys. These people are the enemy in this country. They are the traitors. And I got to give Megyn Kelly a little bit of credit on this one. She had Cheney on and gave it to him. Said, how do you respond? They said you're wrong. They said you've been proven wrong. You shouldn't be, and he blah, 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 and then his daughter blah, 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 blah.
It's a great impression, by the way.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think that's exactly what it sounded like. You were spot on.
Well, it could be worse. Really, what Cheney sounds like is, we had weapons there. We had to go get him. We'll go get him again, my pretty. I don't know why I'm going to the Wizard of Oz and Darth Vader at the same time.
That's how evil it was. You had to have more evil.
So evil. It was both the Wicked Witch of the East,
West.
whatever, and Darth Vader, the Wicked Witch of Vader. Where's my heart monitor? Give me a shotgun. Liz, where you at? Get off that woman. Put that little children's heart down. Don't eat it right now. Wait till later.
Funny part is
not
that's
help.
how he really sounds this morning.
That does not help the throat.
I was gonna say that probably did not help you at all.
I will. You know what though? Sometimes you have to go through some pain in order for good art.
The things that you do for the listener.
Yes, I do that for the listeners. I did
All
that for
6
you.
of them.
You got 6.
We
then?
got 7 right now. Come on now.
Shit. All right. That's the Iraq conflict in a nutshell. Because don't worry about. Here's the thing too. Don't worry about America holding on to borders or nothing like that, because we can't do that. And we're noticing that down in Texas right now. Look,
Like we've imposed these borders on these people in the Middle East. We can't even secure our own. like, hey, you know what? Maybe we're not the best ones to be teaching about defending your borders.
okay. Yeah.
Every policy the government wants to put in place is something they don't know how to do here.
God, they suck.
So, and if anyone is not heard, and I don't even know how you could have not heard now, down in South America, they have been told that any child that comes over into the country is not going to be deported, is going to be able to stay here, and that eventually that child will be able to bring them over. So they are busing thousands of children unaccompanied by any adults over to the U.S. border.
Yeah. The immigration problem right now, and again, you probably haven't heard a whole lot of talk about immigration on this show. We don't really bring up the subject a whole terrible amount, I would say, right?
Well, we don't have a lot of agreement even in the room about immigration.
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of agreement even in the room about immigration. However, I will say this. And I'm normally pretty ambivalent when it comes to the immigration thing. But I really do consider this to be a huge, massive problem right now. And the reason I consider this to be a huge, massive problem is this. This is being done by design, and they are separating their kids from the parents and shipping them over here. Who's going to take care of the kids? Like,
These are children.
The government?
Yeah.
Like, we are now having the government literally taking care of all these kids. On their newscast, it's like they're giving the weather report on the walk to America. Like, on your trip today, it'll be sunny and 75. Make sure you can,
Wear sunscreen.
Wear sunscreen, or it's going to be a little cloudy. I'd have a parka while you're in the desert before you get picked up. The next station to get picked up at is right near Guadalajara. I don't know, wherever the hell places are down there. I don't know.
No
what's
idea
going
where
on.
Guadalajara
I have
is.
no
do
idea
you?
where any of this is. But at any rate, they're making announcements, and then Obama's not deporting anybody. He's like, well, we're just not going to deport anybody anymore. They're bringing them in they're coming in by the tens of thousands. As a matter of fact, and I did see this on InfoWars, and I'll mention this. There is a work order that is hiring people from the government that are basically, for lack of a better term, chaperones, that are chaperoning kids from the border to somewhere in the country. It's a work order. The government is asking for this. That's done by design, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
It's on record. It's all well documented.
There's definitely thousands of children being basically bussed into the country. They're reading the actual rules in this and we've talked about this a couple times now, is that if you come over here as a child with your parents, then your parents are still up for deportation. You are with your parents up until the point that you're an adult, and then you can apply for a work visa and stay here legally. But that's if your parents bring you here and things like that. This is one of those uncharted things where if you just bus over a bunch of children, that doesn't mean we have to keep them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing in the law that says that. These are, if children come over with their parents, then they do get education and things like that because they're not seen as the criminals their parents are. Not the same as this case here where you just send a busload of kids. You're reading the law wrong. And they're not being put into, like, it's not like they're just being put into, like, group homes, and they're gonna start getting educated and things like that. These children are in all essence just being held in camps right now until the government can figure out what to do with them.
That's what the FEMA camps are for.
Yeah, that's where they are right now.
This is really bad. What's happening on this, by the way, and the effects of this are going to be felt for a long time, and this is going to cost us a whole lot of money. And I don't know what the thought process is here for this, but I mean, are the Democrats doing it to try to get more voters? I don't know. I don't know that part.
They're not old enough to vote.
Yeah,
these
they
people, want them to at least bring your parents.
Well, the other thing is, I don't really think that the Democrats would normally think this far ahead.
No.
No.
To where you're thinking 30 years down the road. I mean, maybe.
But now the first lady of Honduras says that she is going to come, and any children that have been bused there from Honduras she is going to be chartering buses and things to bring them back. So there's one country that they're like, okay, maybe we went a little overboard.
Well, that's good. Look, if you have any faith in your damn country, you should want to get your kids back.
Yeah. You should be looking at, why are we shipping our kids off to another country without any supervision, without any parents?
Yeah, this is a recipe for disaster, by the way. Like, if I'm a parent, like, okay, it's bad here in my country. I mean, not here, but I'm saying if I'm in a South American country and I look and say, oh man, it's kind of bad here. I want my children to have a better life. I don't know if putting my small children on a bus and shipping them to another country where I have no idea where they end up is better.
Yeah, I think this is just a bad idea all around. I mean, the American side is not a good thing, but the other side it's not any better.
No.
Yeah, and you got to be in their shoes in order to even understand that, because those people really do live in. I mean, look, we complain about our country, but in all reality, I'll bet you that room that they're sitting in is probably better than what they were sitting in down there. Like even the crappiest conditions in America are probably better than the conditions that they were living in on their best day.
But you don't know what kind of person they're going to run into over the border, where these people, you may have children that are just, taken and abused and things like that, so you have no idea what the situation is that you're busing them into.
You know what? You're right. But again, the chance of having a good life is better going this way than the other way, and they're willing for their kids' sake to take that chance. I mean, maybe they look at it that way. I mean, again, you're right. They could get abused and all that other stuff, but not all of them are going to get abused, so they're playing Russian roulette with their kids. And considering that I don't know the conditions that they were living under, it could be something that could be worth it. Again, we're the shining city on the hill. They don't realize how bad it is over here yet, they still think everything's hunky-dory. And I guess as far as they're concerned, they wouldn't even know the difference considering the crappy conditions they're living in anyway. And I feel bad for them. The part that pisses me off about this the most is I actually think that we as a country should be able to bring this many people into the country. Like, I think that we should have the conditions right now in which these people would have been needed. Not that, that the unemployment rate was good, that we had an economy that was thriving, we had an economy that was doing well, we had good employment that was going on here, that we need foreign workers, that we need foreigners, and that so many people are making so much money that they're able to donate to charities that would go down there and help those people, and they were able to trade with those other countries, and they are able to up their standard of living via a voluntary, mutually beneficial relationship with the United States of America. Let's get the CIA out of the relationships with the other countries now, and let's just have trade with these other countries. I think we should be able to do this stuff. Look, we should be able to. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we have a government that has literally gutted this country. Everybody's living paycheck to paycheck. Nobody can survive. Inflation's going rampant. It's hard to do anything. And then they're spying on all of us. And then they've killed the economy, so everybody's unemployed. And then they're bringing these people in. Like, you people are, it's the part that pisses you off the most, because you want to be helpful in this situation. Right. But we can't right now because we got a government that sucks. Out loud.
They suck and we're broke.
Yeah, they suck, we're broke, and we're bombing people.
And we're broke because they suck.
And we're broke. And we're broke because we're bombing people.
Well, that's yeah.
It's a combination of things.
We
It's a
don't
lot of-
spend money on helping you. We spend money on bombing you.
Yeah. We'll cut the money on helping you.
You're just lucky we're not bombing Honduras
Anymore.
anymore. Give them time.
We'll
You
find
have some oil.
We'll find an excuse. Do you have poor brown people there?
Bomb them.
That is the U.S. foreign policy. Oh, you have poor brown people. You need our bombs.
Bring the young ones to me. Liz likes to play with them first. Tenderize them. I'm Dick Cheney. I love it when you bring them to me.
Sorry.
He's now added Silence of the Lambs into this.
Yeah, it's a very odd combination.
Hold on.
It puts the lotion in the basket or it gets the hose again. Give him the hose, Liz. Give him the hose.
That was a good time, wasn't it?
That was weird.
Are you scared? Are you scared?
A little bit.
I
A little
would
bit
be.
I'm
scared.
mostly disturbed.
It
But
was disturbing.
not scared. Just
All right, moving on.
Have you guys heard about the new Amazon phone? This Fire, it's called a Fire. It's Amazon's Fire phone.
It actually lights on fire as you're making calls.
No, it doesn't. But it's supposed to be like, it does all these really cool things. It's supposed to be better than the iPhone, better than all these other smartphones. It was released by Amazon. And now that they're released it, there's been a big thing going on where people that have used it are noticing that it is like the biggest privacy invasion you've ever seen. Like you don't need the NSA. Amazon has all your data.
yeah, Amazon's spying and drone program is more proficient than the government, actually.
Well, that's what happens when you move into the private sector.
So like, what is this? So what does this thing do?
Basically, is a lot of the features go through what the camera function. So what this thing is doing is as you move and it tries to identify and like give you, you know how like when you're on the computer and it's like, you may like this.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of registering what you've looked at before. Well, this phone is actually registering things through the camera feature and saying like, you might like this. So it basically knows where you are, what you're doing at all times, and it almost creepy like, hey, I noticed you're at the zoo. Do you like giraffes?
Shut up, really?
GPS says we're in your bedroom and the microphone's picking up Barry White. Would you be interested in Trojans?
It recognizes text on images so that you can automatically give it to you in other languages. Like, would you like this in another language? But it also it recognizes songs, TV shows, phone numbers, printed information, QR codes. And when you're transmitting all these things, it's all working through the camera feature. So now Amazon has said, because someone wrote an article about this, which Amazon was not happy about. So they decided to set them straight. So they've updated their article that I read a few days ago. So the updates here are from Amazon. Amazon has clarified that while Firefly does use the camera and microphone, the camera app is separate from Firefly. Your personal photos or videos are not uploaded to the Firefly system. They're stored separately in your personal storage account in Amazon's cloud, not used by Amazon in any way, Amazon says.
Except it's the Amazon cloud hard drives under their possession that they control.
And they use those pictures to suggest other items to you.
You know, I gotta tell you, I think I'm gonna get this phone.
It also, Amazon says you can delete your photos and recordings from Firefly at any time. However, until you delete them, it does use any Firefly photos and recordings to enhance its recognition system.
Unbelievable.
I want to
wonder
be
how-
friends with this phone because it sounds like it can hang out with me because I speak in movie quotes and song lyrics all the time. It might be actually
It will be able to
actually
translate that
hang
for
with me.
you.
It's gonna beat your ass in that stuff. It already knows what lyric you're about to say is what they're gonna do.
In all honesty, who needs the NSA? You can just get an Amazon phone. Amazon is much more proficient than the NSA anyways.
Absolutely.
Free market, man. Works better.
You know, when the NSA can't find you, they'll call Amazon.
Amazon, yeah. You know where actually Dick Cheney is there as well. He's like,
Gosh, enough with this.
Give me the fire phone. Where's Greg Bowen? I want to know where he's at right now, so I'm going to see him and talk to him for a little bit.
All right, are you done?
I am now.
Okay. Now, another new device that is coming to a market near you.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
It's not funny anymore.
Oh.
Is the personal drone detection system.
What?
So it's not on the market yet, but this is a domestic drone countermeasure. They've launched a Kickstarter campaign. You can actually get this device in your house, and the device will alert you if there are drones overhead.
How far away?
Well, I mean, I would assume it would be the whatever feet that they're at, but it'll be when they're over your home.
Only when they're over your home, though.
Yeah, it says the system won't fire. It says the system won't fire any shots at the flying devices. It will simply announce their presence to you at home or on the go.
Wow.
I think that's snake oil.
You think it is?
Yeah, I think that's snake oil. I don't think that'd really do anything for you.
Yeah.
I mean, countermeasures. I really don't even like that they use the term countermeasures, because countermeasure would mean that you could do something about it.
Yeah. And you would think if that worked that ISIS and Al Qaeda would be buying these things up like crazy.
Yeah, like somebody. I understand you have some of the countermeasures for the drones. I would like to buy 500 of them.
Like Pakistani villagers are all pooling their money together to try and get one.
Ahmed, how much do you have right now? I have 20 shillings as well.
I got 5 on it.
Okay.
It says
Don't let him have a dime.
It says our first prototype detection systems are effective at identifying drones in the lab, but we need more real world testing scenarios. Oh, well, you're in the wrong country.
You know what, man? Yeah,
I can tell you where to go to test it.
That's snake oil, man. That's snake oil. Because if that really worked, you're right, though. The Iranians and all the other people would have that stuff. They wouldn't give it to us, man.
Yeah.
And if it really worked, then the U.S. would say that they committed a crime or tried to make an explosive device or something, and they'd arrest them.
I think it's cool.
I have no faith in the government anymore whatsoever. Like, it really, it is kind of sad that I've lost all faith in the government, but I have lost all faith in the government.
I mean, I would think that if we could, especially in Florida, because we have the Libertarian Party of Florida wrote the Freedom from Unwarranted Surveillance Act last year, and it did get passed and signed by the governor. But the only issue that I really had with it is that you wouldn't know they were collecting evidence without a warrant because you wouldn't know the drone was there. This lets you know the drone was there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I like it.
I don't know.
Don't buy an Amazon Fire. That phone, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Because you don't need a drone anymore if you have an Amazon Fire.
Yeah. Yeah, forget about any drone spying on you if you've got that in your pocket. It's all
You ain't
taken
kidding,
care
by
of.
the way. You ain't even kidding, by the way. Now, I will say this, though, and again, we talked about the amount of faith people have in government, is that we have hit a new low for the amount of faith people have in Congress. It has now gone officially to 7%.
Down from 9.
Down from 9.
So what did they move underneath at this point? I knew they were below cockroaches, but
I don't think there's anything there above. Everything's better than they are.
they
Hot lava has now moved up.
Oh, hot lava's a good time, man. I partied with hot lava the other day, man. It was good. Me, hot lava, and Dick Cheney. He was like,
Watch out for the lava. It'll get you. I didn't think I could bring this up, did you? Danielle, we're coming for you.
I'm totally going to commercial.
Yeah,
Cutting him
play
out.
the music.
Liz thinks
This
you're
is-
hot.
sorry. All right. I'm done. All right. Evil Dick Cheney is gone forever. All right. Hour number 1 is in the bag. Hour number 2 is coming up. If you'd like to call the program, 1-800-525-4032. Liberty Underground will be back.
Hi, this is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with camera. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know, Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street, just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
Welcome back to Liberty Underground, hour number 2, the special hour. The hour that's special for me and you. The hour that will not include Evil Dick Cheney.
Oh, that's nice.
Maybe.
Darth Cheney.
Darth Cheney. If you'd like to call the program, the number is 1-800-525-4032. That's 1-800-525-4032. If you want to call a different number, you can, but you won't get to us.
Which may be to your benefit, actually.
Yeah, at this point it might. All right, so the Supreme Court was busy.
Yeah, well, the Supreme Court is in session, so we've talked about a few different rulings
Last thing we need
they've
is
had.
that.
Yeah, I know. You know, it's like just when one session ends, like another one.
No one is safe.
So now the session is going to be ending pretty soon here, but they have been kind of making a lot of rulings. Now, one of them is on what's called a straw buyer. This was actually a gun case that they ruled on, where a person bought a firearm and then sold it eventually to his uncle. Now, it wasn't very long that he didn't have it very long, and the uncle had given him some of the money for the gun, didn't give him all of the money, so it's not like he even paid for all of it. But the guy bought it, had it for a little bit, then shipped it up to his uncle, who had given him some money for the gun when he originally bought it. He was charged with basically a felony of having a straw buyer. This was, a very, big crime, apparently. It's a federal crime because it went over state lines. And so they brought this to the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court did rule against him and said that this was a good arrest and that he would, it would not be overturned, and that he had committed a crime that he was making false statements when he bought the gun, when he filled out the forms, because he filled out the forms saying, I'm buying this gun. So he filled out all the forms with his information, and they're saying that because he intended for it to go to his uncle all along, that he couldn't do that, and it was fraud and a conviction for false statements. So basically, the Supreme Court did rule to strengthen this straw buyer gun laws.
Now and this is what I don't understand. The guy that bought the gun was legally allowed to buy it.
Yeah.
The guy that bought the gun from the guy was legally allowed to buy it.
Right.
I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah, I'm failing to see the problem too.
Like, here's the thing: if me and Greg, if I went and bought a car and Greg gave me some of the money, and then I just sold the car to Greg after I bought the car, am I a straw buyer for a car? Now I'm legally allowed to buy that car. So is Greg. So are we going to jail now because we're both legally allowed to buy the automobile? Arguing now, the automobile has killed way more people than the gun has.
And really has the potential to kill way more people when you think about it.
Exactly. But we're both legally allowed to own said, killing device.
Death trap.
Death trap, whatever you want to call it. Maybe we bought a Fiat, I don't know. I mean, not that I got a problem with Fiats, but you know what I'm saying. I don't get the problem here.
Quite frankly, as long as our government is selling guns to Mexican drug cartels and Arab terrorist organizations, I don't think they have any place in telling us about background checks and who we're allowed to sell guns to.
No crap, right? That's a good damn point, by the way.
I went that this
That's a good point, Greg.
You promise.
Oh, sorry.
Now, that is an angle that I didn't even think of, because here I'm like, that this is the Second Amendment that, shall not be infringed, just shall not be infringed. But no, I didn't even think about what freaking hypocrites.
Yeah, they got some nerve. They got some real nerve. They got big balls for this. You people have sold guns to drug dealers, for Pete's sake, that have killed American citizens. You gave the guns to the ISIS guys. I mean, what do you want from us?
And train them to use them.
But God forbid somebody pals in on a friggin' gun deal.
We're going to sell crates of AKs and M16s to drug cartels and terrorist organizations, but the drunk uncle can't sell the 200-year-old revolver to his family member.
Yeah. You know what, man? I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you on that, by the way. Good job. Good job on that part.
And I think where I'm having a real problem with it is because they're both legally allowed to buy a gun. I mean, listen, if you look at it and, if I see a gun that I like one particular kind of gun, and I can't get it where I'm at, but my nephew can, and I say, hey, can you pick that up for me and ship it? I don't see the problem.
Not at all. Not at all.
Because if the nephew had the gun for a few years, say you have a gun for, a few years, and then you say, you know what, I really don't want this anymore and I'm going to sell it. That would be legal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's look, what they're trying to do is little by little infringe on our rights when it comes to the right to keep and bear arms, and just keep, knocking away at it. And then if anybody gets out of line, we're going to bring the feds in, and we're going to raid your house, man. Now, God forbid you make a shotgun.
Elena Kagan wrote the majority opinion, and what she said is, no piece of information is more important under federal firearms law than the identity of a gun's purchaser, the person who acquires a gun as a result of a transaction with a licensed dealer. Okay, the licensed dealer sold the gun to the nephew.
Yeah. That's it.
That's who acquired it.
Yep.
What happened to it after that? Inconsequential.
Not part of their purview. Especially Elena Kagan, you little authoritarian psychopath.
So, and like I said, I think my bigger problem with this is because they were both legally allowed. I mean, it's not like he was, drug running or buying guns legally to sell to someone who had, felony convictions or something. The uncle just was like, hey, that store near you has one. Can you get it and send it up?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the problem. If one of them, if the end user was not legally allowed to own a firearm, and again, I'm not going to get into whether that should even be illegal anyway. But let's just go down the road that person was a felon or that they were a terrorist or whatever, right? Like
Then they
were,
should go to the
they were-
government.
yeah.
If they were a felon or a terrorist, the government would have sold them the guns directly.
Yeah. So they're both legally allowed to own it. I don't see the problem here, but again, maybe the Supreme Court in their infinite wisdom did. Honestly, at this point, we need to replace the entire Supreme Court. But what other decisions have they made that are awesome, Danielle, that you would like to share with us today?
Well, they struck down a group's patent claiming a computerized invention for limiting risk in currency transactions. So basically, this was a patent protection for a piece of software. This Australian-based Alice Corp tried to apply for a patent. They were turned down. They brought the ruling all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they voted unanimously and said that patents were not eligible protection for software because they're saying that software is a abstract idea and that abstract ideas are not patent worthy.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Isn't government an abstract idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Let's revoke their patent.
wouldn't mind doing that.
They also ruled, the High Court ruled that taxpayers are not automatically entitled to court hearings to question the motive behind a summons issued by the IRS. So if the IRS sends you a summons, you have to show just cause to be entitled to a court hearing. I really hate all of their decisions.
It sounds like it.
But this one seems really bad. I mean, if the IRS is, which is an arm of the government, sends you a summons, you should automatically be entitled to appeal.
Automatically.
Right.
But I guess they don't believe that.
No, they do not.
When it comes to the IRS, that's really the one branch of government that there is no question that you are guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
There is no question in all dealings with the IRS, your guilt is assumed. You have to prove your innocence, and you have no rights.
Yeah, so, definitely.
Greg's got a point, by the way.
The Supreme Court ruled in favor of the government in that one.
Of course.
Now, the third
Imagine
one.
that.
Yeah, I know. The fourth one actually is the justices ruled that public employees cannot be fired for testifying about corruption that they witness in government. There was a lower court that had held that they could be fired for testifying about corruption. So basically, if you're a whistleblower within a government agency, that you can't be fired. Although this it did not say that you can't be brought up on charges. You just can't be fired.
And it does not say you cannot be fired upon. So they can be shot.
Yeah. So, Edward Snowden, he's not coming back. This doesn't help him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can't be fired. So, you can still keep your job in the government agency that is now going to have every single person hating you.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. Good job. Good job. Good job, Supreme Court. You guys are doing a great job.
Now,
Wow, what a bunch of scumbags these people are, huh?
It just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
and one of this patent one, brings up the patent, the copyright was revoked on the Washington Redskins.
Wait, that's not the Supreme Court, though, right?
No, the Supreme Court didn't rule that. That was the actual Copyright Office. But, when we're talking about what can be patented, what can be protected, apparently if you have an offensive name, you no longer get protection.
Yeah.
Because the Washington Redskins copyright was actually revoked, and this is the funny thing is, we're watching it on the news the other day, and me and Kelly were sitting there and we're watching it, and they're like, the Washington Redskins copyright has been revoked. And we're watching this news story, and they're like, at the end it says, this doesn't mean that the Washington Redskins can't use that logo. It just means that everyone can. So we're like, that's a way to punish the offensive behavior. Let everyone do it.
Yeah. It is kind of funny, actually. I do understand what you're saying there. That is actually a little funny.
That was so offensive. We're going to open it up so everyone can use it.
Yes.
That'll show them.
Damn it. We got you now.
Everyone can turn a profit on being offensive.
Yeah. Well, I think what it does is it actually takes the ability of the Washington Redskins to be able to make money off of it away.
It does.
Right, it does.
It hampers their merchandising money, which is where most of the money comes from.
Right.
And they're going to have to do something about this.
Oh no, and they're going to change their logo. There's already been like, some. But
They should change themselves to the Washington Crackers.
have a saltine on their
Or
helmet.
the Washington the Washington Honkies. That's what they ought to change the name to. The Washington Honkies is what it should be. Because that's not an offensive term.
I mean, being the team for Washington, D.C., I really think American Indians are the worst logo for them.
This is
the worst
Washington-
representation.
Washington State.
No, Washington Redskins are in D.C.
Yeah, they're in D.C., babe.
Oh, well, then this story from Seattle, they're confused.
What?
Yeah, I have a story from Seattle saying why the Redskins had to be revoked.
Well,
that's just somebody saying
it's
it.
it's a Seattle report, but the Washington Redskins are in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
And I mean, American Indians are probably the worst symbol for Washington D.C. to use for their team. I think any kind of criminal organization would be better and more fitting.
You go with the Washington Mob.
Yeah.
Go with that. You could go with the Washington Drug Runners.
Yes.
The Washington Counterfeiters. Because counterfeiting the money.
Yeah.
And all.
Wise guys.
The Wise Guys. Yeah, you go Washington Wise Guys. You go with the. Let's see, what else could you go with here? The Washington Infringers.
That doesn't have the same ring to it.
You're right. No.
The
You're right.
Washington Yellow Bellies.
Yeah. The Washington
Go
Liars.
from the Redskins to the Yellow Bellies, and that would
There
be much
we
more
go.
appropriate.
There we
The
go.
Washington Liars. That's a good one. You go with the Washington Liars, right? You guys are down with that, right?
But now and it's basically one Native American that started this whole thing, and
The only one left.
there's
Actually, at this point, you do got to count one for like 7. Oh no, 27.
So there's one, and her name is Amanda Blackhorse. She's a Navajo activist, and she is the plaintiff in the case that actually forced this decision. And her rationale is that in the community they don't use the word redskin, so because they choose not to use it, it has now become offensive to her.
All right.
I think they should just change. They should keep the redskin name and then change it to the potatoes. I've seen that everywhere, and I think that would just be like a great way to just be like, yeah, we're not changing everything. It's a potato.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to make it the potatoes.
I think it'd be fun.
I'm glad I'm not a Redskin fan anyway, though. Like, I don't even really
Yeah,
care.
I could care less.
Like, it's going to be funny to see what your new name's going to be. I really hope they go more offensive, though, and not less offensive.
I mean, quite frankly, this is a great example of why I hate sports, because look at how many people care about the Washington Redskins name. Look at how many of those people don't care about warrantless wiretapping, bombing brown people on the other side of the planet, all the other things that we talk about that these people don't care, that they're not paying attention to.
If they want to actually not be offensive to people, they should drop the Washington out of it.
Maybe the Indians were pissed off because it was Washington, not because it was Redskins.
Like, I think they dropped the wrong name.
Yeah. I am going to be interested to see what they're going to turn into, And like I said, there'll probably be some kind of Washington name or not the Patriots.
It'll be like the
because there's already
Capitals or the Senators or something.
I think it was like some bird. I think I saw
A
this.
bird?
Yeah.
A bird. Bird is the word. Well, whatever the feathers are from when the Indians kill the birds, That's awesome, Greg, isn't it? Isn't that great? What are those feathers anyway? Where are they from? What birds are they from? Are they from a bird or from something else? They gotta give them something, man.
Typically, feathers come from birds.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, did you know that American Indians are the only people who can legally possess bald eagle feathers?
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Our great federal laws, our wonderful government.
Yeah, but what?
Because it's a protected species. Like, even if you find a bald eagle feather on the ground and pick it up, you are now breaking a federal law.
Which that I don't understand. I mean, is it illegal for birds to molt?
Pretty much. I mean, it's illegal for you to possess the results of their molting.
Do they find the bird? Do they put the bird in jail too?
No, the bird's not breaking.
Like, what if it was what was it? What was it? An honest
Entrapment.
transaction.
entrapment? And the funny part is right across the border in Mexico, there's no protections on the bald eagle. You can hunt them.
So you just go down to Mexico and you hunt them. All right. The Boston Redskins. What?
No. I don't know why.
Not changing city.
It does. Their former name is Boston Redskins.
Did they used to be in Boston?
Apparently, they did.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I don't care about it. Okay, well, let's out.
Me too.
Yeah, I really don't care. At the end of the day, it's like I'm interested to see what they're going to change their name to now because of this.
Well, that's what I was looking up. I wanted to see what they were going to change their name to.
Well, we got a couple minutes for Brandon, and there was nothing else written. Did you have something else you wanted to go down here?
I have I never even got to finish the show prep if you look at the list.
Yeah, I know. I had something I wanted to bring up.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is a question for Danielle.
Oh, no.
Because you're a woman.
I am.
You are a woman.
Thank you for noticing.
Now, do you have bathing suits, right?
I have lots of them, yes. Yeah. We just went bathing suit shopping, remember?
Did you ever wear a G-string bathing suit?
I have not ever.
Why?
Because nobody should see my behind in a G-string.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
That would not be a fun time for anyone.
Okay, what is this thing of a C-string? Have you ever heard of the C-string?
Yes, I have seen it.
I'm trying to figure out the logistics of this thing. How do they stay up?
I don't know.
All right, if you don't know what a C-string is, okay, you know how like you got the stuff on the side that's supposed to hold them there? No, I know.
This.
Okay, you know how you have if you have the bathing suit that's the G-string and you have string on the side, right? Okay, take the string on the side off and just cover the naughty parts.
Right.
Not even all the naughty parts, by the way. Like you cover in the front naughty part and the back naughty part. There's basically like a I don't even know what the hell it is, like a wire thing that goes up to the top there. I'm trying to figure out though, how does it stay up there?
Like and no, we went to Orlando over the weekend, and me and Kelly went down the water slide and had problems with our granny bathing suits staying in place. Could you imagine this thing?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this thing out.
It stays in place. It's kind of like a clip, almost. You know, that's a hard. I'm not sure if it's plastic or wire, but that's.
And there's a guy version of this, by the way.
Yes, which is actually even more frightening.
This is not what we should be doing.
No.
Here's the thing. Look, and again, you have the freedom to wear whatever you want to wear. I'm not going to get in your way of wearing what you want to wear. But this just looks bad. Like, honestly, if you wear this thing, and again, I know people aren't asking for things. And when it comes to things like rape and stuff like that, of course, that's really, really bad. But when it comes to being depanted, though, or now being D-C-cupped or C-stringed, you are going to get D-C-stringed, and I'm going to laugh when you do.
Well,
because you honestly have... You are literally having a thing on the back that says, pull me out and let me walk around without any pants on.
I understand somewhat why someone would want this. And this has nothing to do with any kind of aesthetic look or, going out to a beach or to a pool or anything with this on. I could actually see this being useful in like the tanning bed to where like you're not actually naked, but your tan lines are to a minimum. That would be okay. Or like if you were in your own backyard where you were tanning, this gets rid of this brings tan lines to a minimum.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, but if you're in a tanning booth, man, you can just not have anything.
Yeah, but you really don't want a sunburn there.
Right. That's not a good time.
I got you.
Okay, yeah, you will not be having any
fun. That's fine too. Look, whatever you ladies do in your tanning booths is your business. So.
Yeah. But I mean, now, like I said, not something that I would ever wear. I mean, and it definitely doesn't have a lot of function to it. So like you're not going to the beach or to the pool or to anything with the kids with this, because we went on a kiddie slide and in the, we have bathing suits with like a skirt and nothing was staying in place there. So this was not going to be a good time.
Yeah. You get real disheveled. You get real disheveled at that point.
Yeah.
And it's the weirdest thing. Like, I don't even understand why anybody would want to wear this. I don't think I'll ever... I think these are going to be like Indians. Like, you'll never see one.
I actually cannot believe that you actually went over, like, the actual show prep I had that just didn't get up on the board to talk about this, by the way.
You know what it is? I couldn't pull anything else up that quick. That one just showed up on the feed. I was like, oh, what is this? Hang on,
He's had
what?
C-string on the mind.
C-string? What the hell is this?
This is just horrible.
I've been thinking about that for an hour, man. It's been killing me. Well, you know what it is? I didn't know what the other ones, if you wanted to go with things on the third hour. Everything else I was finding what I thought was third hour material. You know what I'm saying? So, like, second hour not on Tan Talk, so I was like, well, let me, Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, that was just bad.
Sorry. What's next? Give us the next thing, man. Help me out here, then.
You please lead us into the next topic. Next topic.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
this one. This one is something here.
So, and there's actually a few different things that have happened this week. There are and we talk about this all the time, but laws are going on all the time that literally target homeless people. But, and we have them here, and I actually have another story that has to do with feeding homeless people in Daytona. A couple got arrested, but we'll talk about that one after this one. This is from Los Angeles, where they have now made it illegal to use your vehicle as living quarters.
Hang on a second here. Hang on a second. What city is this again?
Los Angeles.
You're telling me that the bastion of liberalism,
the City of Angels,
San Francisco, has literally made a law. Or San Francisco. Which one is it?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Okay, my bad. Whatever. Is this San Francisco or Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
Why does that say San Francisco?
Because it's San Francisco. This is where the report. This is the San Francisco gate. Is where it's reporting. A Los Angeles ordinance. You just have to go 3 more words.
Okay, my bad. So L.A., which maybe is not as much of a bastion of liberalism as San Francisco is, but still a bastion nonetheless. This is a big lefty area. Everybody's supposed to be compassionate and all this other stuff. They made a law to make it illegal to live out of your car.
Right. But that also means there are people who live in RVs.
Yeah.
Who are now, and there was a woman, and she's quoted in here. She lives in her RV in neighboring Santa Monica. She holds several jobs, but she basically lives out of the RV and drives from place to place. She was stopped by the police in the Venice part of Los Angeles and was told that she'd be arrested the next time she drove through.
Drove through?
Right.
Hold on. So you can't even drive your RV in there anymore?
The same officer later arrested a homeless man who slept at a shelter but was sitting in his car one morning to get out of the rain.
Wow.
What? Are you kidding me?
Can California break off and fall into the ocean now, please?
I don't Here's the thing, man. We are called libertarians are called heartless all the time, and we're called all these bad names and all this stuff. And here's the thing. Libertarians would never make a law like this, man. Never. Wouldn't even think of making a law like this. Never. You know why? Because it's heartless to do shit like this. Because this is the heartless stuff. You're going to arrest a guy for getting out of the rain by sitting in a vehicle he was allowed to sit in.
Right.
It ain't like he broke. Look, if he broke into somebody's vehicle and was sitting in their vehicle, again, that's a kind of a dumb move. But like, you shouldn't do that. But this is a vehicle the dude owns, and the compassionate people over in frickin' California are arresting people for this crap. And then if you can't drive a RV through a city because if you do, you'll get you heartless sons of bitches. You people really are heartless. You really are. I don't ever want to hear a liberal ever tell me that libertarians are heartless ever again. Don't ever do it, because I am going to... I have enough proof now to show that the real heartless people in this country are you.
Oh, yeah.
This is why this guy down in South Florida wouldn't want to debate me. This Democrat down there.
Oh, yeah, because I
would have killed him.
He isn't even getting back to us.
No.
But, listen...
A coward, by the way, but we'll get into that later.
These are people who, are living either in a shelter or living with someone else, but they use their car for a little while and they're being arrested. It's not even like these people are living out of their car day in and day out. They literally stopped in their car and were there for a little bit.
Yeah, they're just looking for reasons to throw people in jail, man.
Yeah, they really are. Well, and in Daytona, a couple, and this just happened this week, a couple was charged and fined for feeding homeless people, and we see this all the time. This is basically, they went to the steps of Daytona City Hall. It was a group of Christian charity workers, and they were just feeding people. They brought out, it wasn't anything big. They just had trays of food and stuff. They went to a park. They went to the city hall. And they just had little, sternos and stuff, and they were cleaning up after themselves. They were feeding people, and they were arrested and charged and fined.
It's just unbelievable. It is. I don't want to hear about compassion and that how libertarians are compassionate. I don't want to hear about it because libertarians, you know why they're compassionate? Because they wouldn't arrest you for feeding people. We wouldn't make a law making it illegal to feed somebody else because libertarians would say, well, that's a stupid law. We shouldn't do that. We should not do that. Again.
Anybody who says we need to make a law that says you can't live here or you can't feed someone here, out. No, you don't deserve to have any position of power. You are clearly incapable of making these decisions.
This is what the police chief said. No matter how good of a heart you have or what acts of kindness you want to do, there are repercussions that go along with that. Basically, what he's saying is if you're a good person, you will be punished.
Yep.
That's his exact quote.
Yep. Well, that chief of police should be removed from office. Again, there's a lot of people in this situation that need to be fired, namely the city council and the chief of police.
He says, we have rules for a reason, to prevent anarchy. Because apparently, if you just feed people that are hungry, you're an anarchist.
Yeah, that's anarchy.
Yeah.
You're a food terrorist.
People just can't drive down a street, open their trunk, and say, I'm going to have a feeding station here.
Why not?
Why not?
What's the problem? I mean, are you legally allowed to be there? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, these people are only doing it for a limited period of time. They're not setting it up every day. No. They're doing it for a little bit, and then they go down, they feed people, and they leave.
This was a law enforcement officer?
Yeah, this is the police chief.
The police chief?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that murder, rape, theft, arson, 0% in his city, right?
I've been to Daytona, and I can tell you that's not true.
Okay. Well, then when those are at 0%, then you can start worrying about people who are getting fed.
Yeah. You know what? I hate to disagree with you, Greg. No, you can't even worry about it then.
No, if it's a big problem, if it's that big of a problem, when no one is being killed, when no one is being robbed, when no one is having their things stolen, then you can worry about that problem. All of those are bigger problems.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, that's what they should be doing because that's infringing on the rights of somebody else. Feeding people's not, you dumbass. Boy, these people suck. They just... you know what, man?
Can we go to Daytona and feed people?
I'd like to, man. There's so much stuff that goes on, man, that we just don't be able to get in front of anymore because it's happening from every different angle, man.
I'm just saying, weekend on the beach, we could take the whole family, and then on Sunday we'll feed people. Just saying, putting it out there.
If I'm going to go to Daytona, I might have some other things in mind.
The consistency I'm seeing in these laws is they don't want you doing anything they can't tax. You can't live in your car because we can't charge you property tax for that.
Yep.
You can't give away food because you're not paying us sales tax on that.
Yep.
That's what I'm seeing here. There's no betterment of society in these rules. There's betterment of their coffers in these rules.
Well, yeah, and you can't go out and feed people yourselves because then the government organizations that are there to feed people are being competed against.
Well,
yes.
And I didn't pull this story, but there was another story down in Pinellas County where they and we always have these, it's not even a problem, but we always have this come up where they have like the little tent cities where you'll see a couple homeless people. Now, we used to have a large scale where there would be a little community. Now they've kind of, the homeless spiked everything. And
that happened a couple years ago, though, if you think about the same video that I saw.
Well, the one where it was just two people with a tent and they ripped up their tent, I thought that was recent.
Yes.
No, I don't. Oh, you think it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Now I know which one you're talking about when they went in with the box cutters and tore up Tent City.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago, but just within the last couple weeks, this was just literally two homeless people in the woods, and they came and destroyed their tents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I really don't. At the end of the day, I mean, unless they're on somebody else's property that people are complaining about, Like if the property owner is complaining about that person being on their property and they're not allowed to be there, I could see you going in and telling that person to leave.
Yeah, but tell them to leave. Don't destroy all their things.
Oh, absolutely that, though. Absolutely that.
Yeah, because they're poor and homeless, that gives you the right to destroy their property?
Right.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It shouldn't.
Well, and that's what we had this story on before in Hawaii where there's literally like a state house rep in Hawaii that just goes and smashes homeless people's stuff.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And these people were like, just because I'm homeless, because I don't have a home to put my things into, does that mean I'm not allowed to own property?
Yeah, I guess that's the case.
That's what it seems like.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, there's just been, and like you said, there's, there's a big war on homeless people, but yet they call libertarians heartless.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't want you to have a war on homeless people.
Yeah, because we'd actually want you to just be able to feed homeless people.
Yeah, because of that. So, well, get the phone. What do you want me to do? I'm on this side, man.
We can't do anything from over here.
Yeah, right. So, are we just bringing him on and skipping a break?
Yeah, let's skip a break and just bring him on.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right, screw it. Let's do it then. All right, then. Well, coming up, without any break, here in a couple seconds, as soon as Greg gets things done, is Brandon from the Global Dispatch. I hope Brandon is ready to go with what he wants to talk about, because if he's not, then he's going to be in some trouble. He better be ready to go right now, and if he's not, like I said, be in some trouble. Let me just repeat
There's an
everything I
echo
said.
in here.
Let me just repeat everything I said twice. Let me just repeat everything that I said twice.
I had other stories we could have gone into in the meantime.
Oh, we did?
Like,
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Didn't
didn't
have
know.
to be like all crazy. Like I said, all of a sudden Greg said to me 10 seconds, and I was still writing. So hour 2 and hour 3 are not. We're not done.
All right. We'll get there. We'll get there, though.
But that's all right. We got Brandon on the
But right now we got Brandon from the Global Dispatch. Brandon, how are you doing?
Well, speaking of distractions, I show up and make things really fun.
Yes. How are you doing, buddy? I missed you last week, by the way, baby.
Oh, I miss you too. And I really haven't been doing much this week. It's kind of like a pseudo vacation week, mostly just interviews. So it's kind of been off.
It also seems like that your
voice is coming in
That your
now.
voice is taking a vacation too, because you're in and out.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe that'll be a little bit better now. See if I can get more focused here.
There we go.
There you go.
Like,
There
he's
you go.
completely on vacation.
All right,
He's
so,
like,
yeah,
I'm so on vacation, I can't hold the phone to my head.
I'm going to sound like the Peanuts when I call.
Right there.
So what's going on out there, Brandon?
Oh, what did you guys' take on the Washington Redskin trademark revocation? That was a very interesting, sign of the political times. And, the Benghazi thing was an interesting distraction from, things spiraling out of control for the administration to make harsh decisions on Iraq and some of the other stuff. So it's been that kind of week, a lot of bait and switch, a lot of shell game type maneuvers from a political standpoint.
Well, one thing I did want to bring up to you, because it's been a couple weeks since we talked. What did you think about the Cantor loss?
Oh, wow. I was surprised, actually. I mean, it wasn't something that we kind of had on our radar screen.
We're losing.
We're losing Brandon. Hey, Brandon, we're losing you, buddy.
All right, let me try to call back again.
All right, call back on a different line. All right, no problem. Let's hang up on him, and then he'll call back.
I mean, don't hang up on him like me.
Oh, don't get
slam the
mad.
phone
Yeah,
down,
don't.
be
Well,
like,
you can't. Don't hit the button hard.
It's not like it's public policy polling, right?
Are you guys, like we used to have rotary phones and everything where you could like really hang up a phone really hard when you were angry.
Like you could mean it.
Like, do you ever miss that?
I totally do. I totally do.
Little bit.
I was talking about that the other day, actually.
I'm surprised that more people haven't broken their iPhones
By just hitting them really hard.
by hitting
like,
the button hard.
Like, especially with the touch screen, like at least when you could push the button down, you could be like, "Rah." Now with the touch screen, like it takes all the fun out of hanging up on someone. Like now I kind of throw the phone a little.
Yeah. More phones get thrown, I would imagine.
Like now it's like I'll hit the button hard and like throw it in my purse.
Yeah.
Like I'm done.
At least with the flip phone, you could slam it closed a little bit and get a little bit of satisfaction.
Yeah.
But
You get nothing now.
Now I
Yeah,
throw it in my purse and go, oh, I need to make another call. And like have to pull it back out.
all right, we got Brandon back on the
All
line.
right, Brandon's back online. Brandon, are you there?
All right, we were talking about Eric Cantor, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't really have that one on the radar screen. I mean, I really, especially after the McConnell win and not losing, it was kind of a shock to see Eric Cantor lose. Now, does that make it any less gratifying? No, it does not. And David Bratt said all the right things to motivate folks right now with the typical economic climate, job situation, what people want to hear. So we'll see how he actually votes. I mean, it's kind of a little hard to judge somebody who's inexperienced, but that's I'd rather have the guy that's inexperienced and have another day with Eric Cantor. So it was good to see.
Yeah, and again, he's still got to win an election. I mean, that was only the primary. He's still got to win the general, but it is going to be interesting to see that. It was surprising that Cantor lost, though. I got to tell you, I was very surprised about that, though. But
I think Cantor had it so much as a sure thing that he actually never started campaigning.
Well, yeah,
which was the problem.
Yeah, that's the other problem is that Cantor really wasn't even campaigning hard. I mean, he was just doing ads and he was doing the lazy stuff.
Like he never even showed up in his district.
Yeah.
And that was really the difference between him and Graham. You know, Graham pulled the midnight hour trip back home, did some work for, a few weeks, kissed some babies, did all the right things, and his people bought into it, and he won in a landslide as he was facing a field of people that kind of split up all the votes and really was, kind of ashamed to see it play out that way.
Yeah. Well, there were so many people that were in that race, too.
And that's what.
But he still got the majority, though. He was still at like 59%,
Yeah.
even considering all of that, though. So it wasn't like they all split it up.
It wasn't even close. Right?
Yeah, wasn't even close. Now, with what's going on in Iraq, we haven't talked a whole lot with you about the Iraq stuff. What is your take on where we're at right now with the entire Middle East?
With the entire Middle East is really still a lot of the push-pull. Iraq has really become more of just kind of going full circle around where you're seeing a lot of Sunni violence against Shiites. And folks that don't understand that the country has always been very divided, the Sunnis, the Shiites, the Kurds in the north. And with our intervention in Iraq, the one thing that they were trying to do was trying to bring more equal balance from a political structure, because the Sunnis, while they may be a small population, had all of the control through the authoritative state that was run by Saddam Hussein. Well, of course, by equaling that out, and now you're taking some folks that were running the country and now giving them maybe 20% power at the most. I mean, they're maybe 30% at the most. It's not gone well for them. They disagree with our presence. They disagree with this. They get a lot of PR and press because they are a lot more fundamental than the Shiite group in Iraq. Now, I'm not trying to say that the Shiites are moderates. People don't get confused with the Iranian Shiites, because they're not all brother and sister. But now it's spiraling more and more violence. If the Sunnis don't get their way, they'll just keep blowing things up, and we're just going to see that type of response until they get their way. I don't know why we would think there's a way to negotiate with them. It's a religious sect. It's not something that you're going to be able to negotiate with. So that's kind of the situation there. As far as most of the Middle East, of the violence is coming in waves. There's still a lot of Islamic persecution towards Christians where it gets underreported, and it's something that just kind of fits their ideology. As far as Syria, Assad had won his election, so it's kind of come off the radar screen. There's not a lot of PR for our press or our administration to get any brownie points by talking about Syria right now. And that kind of takes us kind of full circle around the Middle East.
One thing I did want to ask you, if I'd have told you 6 months that we were going to team up with the Iranians to save Baghdad, what would you have called me?
I would not consider I wouldn't consider what we're doing teaming up with the Iranians yet. I do want to see. I think it's just really hypocritical for America to want to kind of go down that road, since we've gone the reverse of that now for over a decade, and we've seen how bad it's gone by partnering with either group against the other for now upwards of 50 years. So I would have said you were crazy, because I just can't believe we're this stupid, but then again, our track record shows we are, so it really shouldn't be that surprising.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that Benghazi has been kind of a distraction from the thing in Iraq. Now, we haven't brought this up on the show because I didn't want it to be a distraction, so I didn't put it in our show prep. But they arrested a suspect that they say was, basically had done this, had at least planned the incident in Benghazi. But they make it sound like it was this big coup to get him. He was giving interviews to American reporters for months.
Yeah, CNN had no problem finding this guy. If we could rerun some of the sound bites from Susan Rice and I believe Hillary herself, the Obama administration were talking about, they're searching, they're working around the clock, they're doing all these different things to bring those in justice and all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, CNN just goes over there, and Arwood Damon, I believe, sat down and did an interview. And, he seemed to know where Katala was the whole time. So we just kicked in a few doors and brought this guy to justice. He's on a ship, so they can interrogate him for a longer period of time. And, of course, the Libyans are upset that we would do such a thing because they wanted their hands on him.
Yeah, and it seems like the CNN only had to call him and they could find him. So, I don't know if it's just how much they think the American people will just buy whatever lie they sell, or if they're really that inept. Because literally CNN made a phone call and met him in like a cafe.
At a Starbucks.
Well, I think I want to go a little further there with that because you're right, and they are still selling it, because I don't know who it was, but I heard a soundbite, and she was basically saying or trying to dodge the question about, why is it that, the press could find this guy and it took us nearly 2 years later. And she kind of dodged the question and kind of made it sound like, they were doing the best they could or whatever. So, but again, we have to understand the nature and the climate of those that are supporting this administration because they don't care. They're not going to engage themselves to challenge that rhetoric and challenge that talking point, and that's kind of the crime of it all.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there, man. Go ahead. No, did you have something else? Okay. Sorry about that.
I took a sip of Pepsi.
What else is going on out there, Brandon?
A lot of the incredible reporting by Robert Harriman. He's my business partner and does all of this. So if you click the Outbreak News section, you'll see some just amazing breaking stories. He was the first one to report on some of these things that have come down the pike all over the globe. We've got dengue fever deaths in Malaysia. Of course, the chikungunya outbreak is still spreading across the country and things like this. I know that it's kind of a lot of science talk and things like that folks may not really want to be in, but you know what? If you're traveling or know people that are traveling, or you have relatives abroad, it might be a section of the dispatch that really might have greater interest to you than others. Because I don't know about you, but you aren't going to see that the Haiti chikungunya is now up around 40,000 cases. That's a lot of folks that are ill right now. So a lot of different things that are being done there that very proud of. And hey, on a fun note, you got to give the LA mayor a lot of little credit for class, right? Drop it an F-bomb. He's drinking beer. He's trying to be one of the guys as the LA Kings celebrate their Stanley Cup victory. So, lowering the bar or raising the bar of class, depending on how you want to look at it, right?
I think they're just going on Mayor Ford in Toronto's lead. He's like, man, people love this guy. I think I can get away with a lot.
I'm surprised the LA guy didn't just smoke crack right on the stage. Well, it's a good thing he didn't try to stay in his own, try to sleep up there, though, because they might have arrested him, though. Because smoking crack won't get you arrested, but
only
sleeping
if he sat in his car too long.
Yeah, if he was in his car too long on the way there. Or if the traffic was, really backed up, they just started arresting people wholesale.
I wonder if they can just arrest everyone, traffic backup. You all are living in your cars. You've been here for hours.
You ever seen traffic in LA? Everybody lives in their car.
Hold on a second here. And this is a disease that Brandon had brought up, and I really think that
you can't pronounce.
That I can't pronounce, but two, what the heck? Chikungunya. Is that what it is? Chikungunya?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a mosquito-transmitted disease, as I understand it, but I don't know nearly as much as Bob does. So if you really want to have an expert, we can get Robert on the phone for you, and he can give you the ins and outs of everything that has to do with chikungunya.
You say it so quick, too. It just rolls off the tongue.
He says
you.
it like he knows
experience being around Bob.
Oh, I got you. Does Bob make you say it? Does he do drills with you to where you go chikungunya, chikungunya, chikungunya?
No, often eventually just rubs off.
Oh, I got you. Osmosis. Done by osmosis. Very nice. Very nice. Now,
my children can probably say Abu Katala. Not because they know how to say Abu Katala. They just heard me say it enough times. Why can't we just arrest Abu Katala?
CNN could find him easy.
I still can't say it, by the way.
Find him. I can drive over there myself. Maybe I could get an interview and just bring him home.
Just call him. He's doing interviews.
Sounds like that. It sounds like that's all you got to do, actually. Now, let me ask you a question. I know that we're moving to the movie news or to the TV show news a little bit here. When does Walking Dead come back?
You're jonesing.
Walking Dead will be back in October. We don't have a confirmed date as far as I know, but it will almost. I will bet everything on it. They'll stick with the same formula that's been working for years. They're in production right now. It will open probably mid-April. I don't know the Sunday schedule right in front of me. I can kind of pull it up on my phone and see if I have it flagged. But whatever that is, that's when it'll be back. They'll run till early December. They'll take a little break, come back in January, and that's how it'll play out. That's their formula.
Man, I can't wait for this, man. This is going to be a good time, by the way.
You saw a picture of Walking Dead the other day and was like, I can't wait for that to come back.
Yeah, it's a good show, man. It's a really, really good show, man. I really like the show.
I'm going to predict it'll be October 12th, October 19th. That's when it'll be back.
Okay. All right. Well,
I think you just like it because it clears the room for you and you get some alone time in the normally chaotic house.
Look, I'm not saying that's not a benefit. I'm not saying that there ain't a benefit to that, but I like the show as well, though.
It's like Walking Dead's on, Alex gets alone time because everybody leaves the room.
Yeah, nobody likes it, though. I don't know why you guys don't like it. It's a beautiful show.
But now when my kids are here,
America.
When my kids are here, they watch it with you.
Yeah, because your kids like the show.
Yeah.
That's something good. At least that part rubbed off on them,
Well, I just keep me some happy thoughts because I'm chasing down an interview with Merle. So if I actually get an interview with Merle, Alex, you got a question for Merle?
No, I don't have any questions for the guys. I really don't.
When are you coming back, man?
Yeah, when do they put the show back on? You know, what I mean, can you give me like a little sign while you're doing it, like Alex Snicker, you know? Give me one of those while you're doing the show. You know what I'm saying?
You have the word snicker written
Ask him
somewhere
if he'll
into the
support.
script.
Ask him if he'll support Adrian Wiley, the Libertarian candidate for governor. Ask him if you know. You can ask him. Here's the thing. Have you, in watching in dealing with The Walking Dead, have you realized that government doesn't matter? Sorry.
That they're the Walking Dead.
Yeah, after doing The Walking Dead, have you realized that government doesn't matter?
There's sometimes we're at events and I'm like, I swear we're in the zombie apocalypse right now.
Yeah, it's happening as we speak.
Maybe The Walking Dead should be the new Redskins name.
Oh, not a bad idea.
Oh, wait, that's already trademarked, and you can't.
Damn it.
That wasn't offensive. They can keep their copyright.
Yeah. Anything else, Brandon?
No, just tons of interviews and things going on. So feel free to check out the globaldispatch.com.
All right, great. Brandon, his name is Brandon. The website is theglobaldispatch.com. Brandon, thank you so much, brother. We'll talk to you. Well, you'll be on next week, but Adrian will be doing the show next week, not us.
So you get to talk
we're
to
gonna be up
Adrian.
in.
It'll be like a whole lot
up
of
in
smart.
Ohio. So yeah, there'll be a whole lot of smart going on next Friday. So we'll see you next.
All right.
We'll see you later on, brother.
That. All right. Have a good week and talk hard.
Talk hard.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even really announced that Adrian actually will be the guest host for all 3 hours next week. He'll be in studio, and we will not be.
Yep. We'll be in Ohio.
We will be in Ohio.
Oh, why, did we ever go to Ohio?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm already dreading it. We haven't even packed yet.
And there go all our listeners from Ohio.
No, honestly, I think Ohio is probably a very lovely place. It's the reason why I have to go to Ohio that I'm dreading going to Ohio.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It is not because of the place whatsoever. I'm sure Ohio is lovely. I've never been there, so that'll be interesting to see. But I'm not,
not excited about the
vacation,
reason. Right?
Yeah. I ain't trying to. Yeah, we ain't trying to. Look, you don't got people from Florida trying to go to Ohio for a good time, you know.
Well, when you live in Florida, you got to go to other places on vacation.
Why?
We love vacationing here.
I'd rather be here.
Well, to get away. I mean, if you're gonna get away, I mean, I don't go anywhere.
Don't tell me what to get away from. Don't tell me what to
I don't go anywhere.
I don't go anywhere. I just stay here, but.
We live vacation in Florida.
That's like if we go somewhere, I really like taking little trips to like Daytona or the Keys or something like that. It's good.
Yeah.
He said not guest host. It's my show, by the way, is what Adrian
Yeah,
said.
I just saw that.
You know what, Adrian? I gotta tell you something. Why don't you call in real quick and let me give you my response to what you just said?
We're going to be on Tan Talk in a few minutes.
Yeah.
That's okay. The federal government has stripped you of your trademark.
We got 8 minutes. We got 8 minutes. You know what? We got 8 minutes. Call in. You call in right now because we know you're listening there, Wiley. Why don't you call in real quick, guy? So I can tell you over the phone. To make sure you get it done before I got to go on Tan Talk, where I'm not allowed to curse.
Well, and we kind of alluded to it before. We were supposed to go down to Collier County for a debate between a Libertarian and a Democrat. The Democrat is chicken, and has
no, he's not chicken. He's a coward.
He's a coward. Oh, that's right, because that's the word he used. He is a coward and has not gotten back to us. He originally had it planned for one day, and I have to be in Collier for another event, so we were trying to coordinate the two events together so we could just go one time, stay one time. And I went to move mine around to accommodate him, but it took a couple days. When we finally did get back to him and say everything's good, we can do it that time, let's do it, he has not returned any phone calls, any even Facebook posts, text messages, nothing.
Yep.
So he is a coward.
Oh, but the
total coward.
Total coward. But we will be down at Collier for the Liberty First Network because that event is still going on because they are not afraid of learning about how to affect legislation.
Yeah, I'm just sick of Democrat cowards.
Yeah, it's Democrats are at least that.
Not
one
all
is.
Democrats are
not
cowards.
all
But this
Democrats.
Democrat this one is. He's a coward all day long. Who was that?
This is not a coward. This is the next governor of Florida. I'm suspecting.
He might be a coward. Depends on what he says next. So we'll see what the guy says. Are you going to get there?
This computer's so slow. It shows that the call's answered and it's still ringing.
Are you there? Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what are you going to say?
Caller is here.
Here's the thing. It ain't your show, guy. Let's remember that.
Hey, you just keep counting your lucky stars that I was gracious enough to allow you to take the reins of my show while I'm busy on the campaign trail.
Let me ask you a question, man. When this show first started, what was the name of the show?
When I first came up with the idea and started the show, since you were running for office, I did decide to call it the Alex Snicker Show.
Okay. So, what was the name of the show?
You know, that was just more of my graciousness, allowing you to,
look, I've been
center stage on that.
Look, I have been carrying you for years. All right, let's not even go down this road. I've been carrying you for years. All right, I let you go out on your own a little bit, and look what a big head you get here. You know, I let you go out there and try to make it on your own, and this is what happens. Am I going to have to spank you again?
Well, that might be fun, you know. Ooh.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I'm not, you know what?
This show just took a turn.
You can find another driver for the craft brewery tour. That's all I'm
I
saying.
think I might kill you both.
Hey, well, Danielle can vouch for this. Every time that I'm behind the wheel and you're in the passenger seat, you always try to touch me. Why do you do that? What's up with that? Why are you touching me? Mom!
It is like, you know, he does like that in the commercials where he'd be like, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you.
Yeah, I do that.
He does that the whole time.
I do that. It's fun, though. It is fun.
And they bicker back and forth to where all of a sudden I'm like, both of you stop it right now.
Don't make me pull this car over.
She ain't even driving it.
She'll still pull it over.
She's in the back seat trying to pull the thing over. Pull over right now, Adrian. No, I'm not kidding. This craft brewery tour is going to be fun, though.
It is going to be a lot of fun.
I've already got a team of people working on the new intro, the new bumpers, for the new reinvented Adrian Wiley show. So I think it's going to be a really phenomenal thing. And hopefully we can double the number of listeners to 16 in this hour.
Wow, that's pretty ballsy. I don't know. That's a pretty bold statement there. I don't know if you can do it.
I know I'm shooting for the moon, aren't I?
Yeah, don't shoot for the moon like that, man. That's a lot of people.
According to my information here, we have 15 right now.
No, there you go.
Look at that. You're going to have to get 30.
Oh,
30.
boy. Bringing it.
It's on now.
What are you doing today? Are you doing anything today campaign related, or are you working?
No, he hasn't.
Yeah. Today I will be in Safety Harbor at the third Friday event. Libertarian Party of Pinellas County will have a booth there. Lucas Overby will be there as well. So if you're anywhere near Safety Harbor, come out and say hi and show your support for the new improved Adrian Wiley radio show.
And I have to say that tonight, the Wiley for Governor volunteer coordinator, Stacy, who is also our amazing graphic arts person, will be down there painting faces. So if you like our memes, our artist will be down there painting your child's face.
Yes. All right.
And it's all going to say Wiley for
By the
Governor.
way, I just want to say to Danielle, Stacy, and Alex, in all seriousness, fantastic job on the Craft Brew Tour. Really looking forward to that in August. I think that's going to be a huge hit. People are from all around the state are already contacting me saying how excited they are about it. So thank you guys for setting that up. It's been phenomenal so far, and I'm really looking forward to it.
We'll see if you feel that way August 30th.
Yeah, because this is the schedule. You only see half of it right now. The schedule is grueling, but we're gonna try to make it as fun as possible. Well, I mean, not for you, but for us. and Stacy has some great graphics going on. The promotion on it, the marketing material is gonna be beautiful. Me and Alex are planning to have a great time and run you ragged for 30 days.
Yep.
Well, Noah said the campaign trail would be easy.
That's true.
It's true.
That's true. All right, man. Well, we got a break, man. We got a hard break here, so we're gonna have to let you go.
All right, talk hard, guys.
All right, don't take Brandon's line. We had to get a little bit of that.
Trying to take everybody's stuff. Taking Brandon's line, taking your show.
He sounds just like a politician. Maybe he is going to win.
He's easing right into this job.
Oh my God.
Well, and at noon today is the final qualifying time. We will know who will be on the ballot as of noon today in all races. So all of these races that were unopposed, the governor's race, all of that, we're finally going to know at noon today, basically who qualified, who didn't, and we'll be able to move forward.
There you go. See if James Brown decides to run for office.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I hope he does too. All right, hour number 2's in the bag. Hour number 3's coming up. If you'd like to call the program, 1-800-525-4032. You listen to Liberty Underground. We'll be back.
is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with camera. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street, just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
This is Liberty Underground with Alex Snicker, Danielle Alexandre, and Greg Bowen on the 1787 Radio Network.
Well, good morning, Tampa Bay, Clearwater, St. Petersburg. This is Alex, co-host, Liberty Underground, along with me, the Duchess of Doing Stuff, my own personal Wikipedia. Danielle Alexandre. Good morning, Danielle. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Also, the Prime Minister of the planet Sinister, Greg Bowen. How are you doing?
Spectacular.
I don't think I should have to come up with two of them in the same show.
No.
I'm just saying.
No.
So, hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully everybody's having a good week. With a lot of different news that we got to get to here, and especially in the hour that we're on, Tan Talk 1340, which we thank you very much for tuning in to. But Danielle, let's start with Washington, D.C. What happened there?
Well, last night there was actually a vote on, it's basically, the entire thing was House Resolution 48070, which would have, basically it's how they're going to be funding the military this year. One of the amendments that we're going to be talking about in particular is amendment, the Massey Amendment is basically what this is. And what this would do would not allow any funding to be used to spy on American citizens without a warrant.
So you could still spy on people with a warrant.
Right, and that's always going to be there. I mean, if they have a warrant to collect evidence on you, that's not going to go away.
Yeah. Well, no, and I'm not saying that it should, but I'm saying is that I just wanted to make sure to make it clear. It didn't ban it banned it. What it was doing was saying we're not paying for the mass collection of data anymore.
Right. Any warrantless searches wouldn't be funded anymore.
Which is the majority of what they're doing.
Right. So this would just defund the portion of the NSA that would be, getting any searches that didn't have a warrant. And that's all this bill did. It's actually only about a page and a half long. It was actually very, very straightforward. It literally just defunded warrantless searches. No money could be spent on warrantless search. That's it. So there was a vote on this. The vote came in at 10:48 last night. So, and I knew that it was coming. Representative Massey, Representative Amash, that were very vocal about it, saying, hey, there's going to be a vote tonight. There's going to be a vote on this amendment. So I kind of been watching for it all night. The vote finally came in at 10:47 p.m. last night. Now, it was agreed to. The amendment passed 293 to 123 with one abstention.
So now we don't think it's going to make it through the House, though. Or through the Senate, you mean?
Well, this is a funding bill. It doesn't necessarily have to, but there's going to be some back and forth where they're going to find a new way to do it, and I don't see this as I see this as a good kind of theater move. I think that Massey and Amash really actually did think that this was going to be able to do something. I think you're going to see things go to the black budget instead of being on the regular budget. There's ways to get around this, but it's a good first step.
Yeah, it's a good first step. So when it comes to this vote, it seems like a pretty good vote. Now, I can remember there was a special election that was held, and there was a candidate that won by the name of, David Jolly.
Yes.
And that David Jolly, when he was campaigning, was saying that he was not supportive of this.
He was asked, while he was running in the special election, he was asked, do you favor scaling back or ending the NSA's domestic surveillance programs? If so, what changes do you propose or support? Jolly's answer was, yes, any surveillance of an American citizen without proper adjudication by a court should be illegal.
Okay, all right.
So that would make you to believe that if it was a warrantless search, it shouldn't be done.
Correct.
Well, on the amendment that would defund warrantless searches of American citizens, he voted no.
He voted against that, so he wanted to keep the warrantless searches going on.
Yes, well, he at least wanted to keep the funding for them.
Yeah, he doesn't agree with warrantless searches. He just wants to pay for them.
Right.
He just wants us to use taxpayer money to make sure that they happen.
So he's either just really likes spending, no matter what the spending is on, which would make him the exact opposite of a fiscal conservative.
Yeah.
Or he thinks it's good to spend money to spy on people without a warrant, which would mean he has no respect for your civil liberties.
At all.
At all.
even a little bit.
It actually could be a combination of both. He likes to spend your money and take away your freedoms.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it looks like Bill Arrakis also voted against this.
He
huh?
also voted against this as
and
well.
Bachman voted against this, huh?
Yes.
Very curious there. Who else voted against this? If you go down the list, you got any other names of people we would know?
Let's see. You got Cantor.
Well, he's not going to be there much longer. Oh, King from New York. Oh, imagine that. That authoritarian psychopath voted for it, huh?
You got Kennedy. Let me see. I'm looking for people who we would know. Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Diaz-Balart.
Yep. Miller from Florida. He's also
Miller
on that
from
list.
Florida.
He's
Murphy,
also a no
Murphy
vote.
from Florida. Frankel from Florida. Webster from Florida. Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Well, at least they stand together, huh?
Yeah, well, it looks like Jolly stood together with a lot of Democrats on this one.
No, he loves it. He loves it. He loves the Dems on this stuff.
Yeah.
Loves that. Oh, that's very nice though. So very good for David Jolly. Just remember, so if you're a person that's going to be voting in this election coming up here in November, you have David Jolly against Lucas Overby. David Jolly wants to fund the agencies that are spying on everybody without warrants, and Lucas would vote no on that.
Yeah, so, and you have to look at it from two angles. There's a lot of people that say spending is the most important thing to them, and then other people that say civil liberties are the most important thing to them. He actually doesn't vote in favor of either, because he voted to have warrantless searches and to fund warrantless searches. So he didn't want to cut spending, and he wanted to make sure you were spied on. Also, when it came to the gun regulations, he wanted to increase background checks and strip away gun rights from people that, maybe were coming back, veterans and things like that. And he also wanted to spend $20 million to do that. So spending-wise, not cutting. Civil liberties-wise, taking away your rights.
Yes, and Second Amendment, not necessarily a friend of the Second Amendment either.
Right.
That's David Jolly. That's who you voted for in the special election that won. You have an opportunity right now to correct that mistake. It was a very big mistake that you had made, the citizens in Pinellas County, and you have an opportunity now to correct that mistake. And you can do that by voting for Lucas Overby. Because David Jolly has proven, one, that he's a liar.
Right.
He's just proven that. And that he does not deserve your vote. And that you need to send a clear message to Washington, D.C., and a clear message is that we are against people like David Jolly who will lie to the citizens in order to get elected.
And I understand you might be confused by the way he voted there. That was David Jolly, not Alex Sink. That was, in fact, the Republican David Jolly, not the Democrat Alex Sink.
Correct.
It's kind of confusing because most of the people who voted no were, in fact, Democrats, just like most of the people that were voted for stripping gun rights and increased spending on background checks were also Democrats. So I know it's confusing that you may be like, wait, maybe we elected Alex Sink because my representative keeps voting with the Democrats. But no, that is your Republican Congressman David Jolly.
Yes. Where was Yoho at?
Let me look. Nugent actually voted for this.
That's nice. Good job, Nugent, by the way.
Yeah, so this is a
He
couple...
does make a couple good votes from time to time.
I gotta say, this is a couple times now that Yoho voted for the amendment as well.
Oh, good for Yoho. Okay, there you go.
Yoho
There you
got
go.
one right too.
There you go. I always like to hear that. So this is what's going on. Again, you cannot base your determination on your elected officials based off of what they say. Because you got to remember, most of these people are like used car salesmen. You have to base it off of what they do when they're elected into office. Luckily, you have this show and this program that will tell you what they did when they were elected into office. The decision that you make at that point is on you.
Just to let Dale know, Bill Posey also voted for it.
Yeah, Posey's not a bad guy.
Posey got it right.
Posey gets a pretty high rating most of the time, actually, which surprisingly enough. But he does make some bad votes from time to time, and the fact that he's a Republican probably is another detriment against him. But at any rate, what's next?
Should we do the call to public policy polling?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's try it. I mean, if it works.
We'll give it a shot. I've got it pulled up here. Let's. I'll go ahead and put the dial on the air.
Let's try public policy polling on this one. I'm surprised they haven't done the other race. Oh,
we're actually getting a ring.
Oh boy, watch out! Watch out! This is our weekly call to public policy polling. Just so you guys know, the reason we're calling them, we'll find out here in a second.
Dean can't come to the phone right now. Please leave a message.
Yes, Dean, how you doing? This is Alex Snicker. You're live on the air. Well, you're not, but your answer machine is. We wanted to give you a call again about Adrian Wiley. Now, we're going to expand the call this week. So it's about Adrian Wiley, Bill Wolsifer, and Lucas Overby. So these three people in particular are people that you need to be polling on right now, and you're not. See, now, the thing about Lucas is the last time that somebody polled him, it wasn't you, but the last time somebody did, he was polling at about 31%. Now, at somebody polling at 31%, I would imagine it might make sense to add his name to the list, considering he's the only other candidate in the race for that seat. And for Adrian Wiley, since you guys can't seem to get below 16% when it comes to the other vote, maybe, just maybe, it might be a good idea to actually include Adrian's name the next time that you guys run a poll. Because I know you just did it again, because you guys proved it yourselves to be liars. Because you said if we called, then you would actually add his name.
First, you said you excluded him because we didn't tell you. Then we told you every single Friday, and you still excluded him. So at some point, we just have to label you all liars.
Correct. So at any rate, guys, put Adrian's name in it next time, and we're still going to keep calling. So keep it going. So and I hope you guys enjoy the voicemails, and I hope you enjoy the bottom of or underneath your desk, because that's typically where you're hiding when we call looking for you. And hopefully maybe you can do a poll on whether you're going to get a spine or not someday. But at any rate, have a good
that
day.
should be your next poll. That's a suggestion for you. That should be your next poll. When will the people at PPP actually get spines?
Yeah, try that one next week, guys.
That's a good one.
All right, we'll see you later. Bye.
Toodles.
All right, that's the weekly call of PPP. And what's the phone number that we call the public policy polling?
If you would also like to call Dean Debnam at Public Policy Polling, that phone number is area code 919-880-4888. That's 919-880-4888.
There you go.
Call him often.
If you would also like to get that voicemail.
Yeah, call early, call often.
Yeah, call early, call often. And get your friends to do it. Oh, you can have like a whole let's call PPP party. It could be the PPPP.
The quadruple P.
I really feel like I got to the bathroom at this
point. Someone may be running against Bill Posey in 2016.
There you go.
Good job.
Next.
Now, also in the House, they're not just voting bad on legislation that affects you. They're voting bad on their leadership. As we were talking about with Brandon earlier, Eric Cantor lost his primary election, and he quickly resigned from being the majority leader in the House. So they needed an election because Lord knows we can't have a seat in leadership go unfilled. So this did go down. I think it was yesterday, Thursday. Yesterday they did elect Representative Kevin McCarthy to be the new majority leader in the House. Kevin McCarthy is an affable establishment Californian.
Very, very, very wine country-ish.
Yeah, they did pick Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana to fill McCarthy's role as the majority whip, and so now everyone is just. And I love how the Liberty Republicans are like all the Tea Party Republicans are like, look, we had a win. Steve Scalise won as the House Majority Whip because he's the Tea Party candidate. Now I do have to say he was running only against Tea Party candidates for the Majority Whip. So there was two of them.
Yeah.
But it's look, we won. Not mentioning that Representative Kevin McCarthy is a neocon establishment hack all day long.
Yeah, total hack.
Let's forget about that guy who got the higher seat and is in a bigger leadership position. Look, we got Scalise in. Woohoo.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it just goes to show you that the Republicans up there, and look how they voted. I mean, look, they voted to pass that one, but you're still not getting, you're getting a lot of people that are voting against this stuff.
Yeah. You guys are grasping at straws there.
Yeah,
really.
totally grasping the straws. But that's okay.
Yeah. So, Representative Kevin McCarthy is the now new House Majority Leader after Eric Cantor's defeat in the primary. And listen, if there ever was an establishment hack to take over for Eric Cantor, it would be Steve McCarthy. He was the House Majority Whip. He only moved up a seat. He has been, a big supporter.
Kevin McCarthy, right? Yeah, Kevin McCarthy.
That's what I said, McCarthy.
You said Steve McCarthy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Steve is Scalise. I got the two names mixed up.
Not that it matters. Establishment guy, whatever.
Yeah. But McCarthy is a big supporter. He was always a big supporter of Eric Cantor. He was, very much on the side of John Boehner when there was that whole trying to, get Boehner out of being the Speaker of the House. This guy is all the way establishment. He loves him, the Republican Party and the leadership there. Nothing is going to change under his leadership. He liked the way things were going. So, he handily beat out Representative Raul Labrador, who was supposed to be the Tea Party candidate in that race.
Yeah, you knew it was going to happen. I didn't even think it was news at that point. It was like, yeah, the establishment selected one of their own for the new position of the establishment. The only thing we can hope for now is that Kevin McCarthy loses.
Now, and he could, because he is up for election.
Yeah, so we maybe he can lose. I mean, that would be fun. I would like to see every time somebody gets that job that they lose.
Like it's like the seed of death.
Yeah,
the curse. It's like getting the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Like after a while, nobody will want the job. You know what I mean? Like every time somebody loses that, no matter what, you're like, oh, we gotta get somebody else for that seat.
Yeah. Now, and Republicans they are changing their tactics a little. They're trying to aim more of their messaging campaign to women.
How?
By telling them that Obamacare is bad and jobs and education will come when we get government out, and that abortion should be illegal.
How? Okay, hold on a second here. How is that different from what they were saying before?
It's not. I actually found this story, and it's so...
Is it on The Onion?
No, this is Yahoo News. It's from Reuters.
It's from Reuters?
Yeah, it's from Reuters. Republicans are getting ready their new messaging campaign aimed at women. So I'm like, okay, let's see what's their talk track going to be. They actually... what they did was survey Republican women voters. Now, they only surveyed 1,200 of them in the entire country.
All right.
And what they found is that with these 1,200 Republican women voters, the most important issues to them were Obamacare, jobs, and education. But they were very much in favor of what the Republican Party was already doing on those. They said Obamacare was a top issue. 55% of the women polled were opposing Obamacare, and 43% of those were strong opposition.
Okay. I mean, hey, good for you guys, man. Good for you guys of doing absolutely nothing. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you for making it easier for us to bring more people into the LP.
Now, the funny thing is that CNN did a poll last month that showed 61% of Americans, especially women, want Congress to leave the Affordable Care Act.
Wanted to leave it? What do you mean by leave it?
Like, leave it alone.
Really?
Yeah.
61 want to keep it?
61% want to keep it.
Of the women?
Of women. This is targeted more to women.
Oh, I got you. 61% of women.
Yeah, 61% of women want to leave it alone. And there's basically, they go down where, listen, the Republican women in the Republican Party agree with the Republican establishment, so they are tailoring their message to stay the same.
Well, and 61% of the women need to actually learn something here, I guess, because obviously if they want to keep the Affordable Care Act where it is, they're not really thinking clearly.
Well, this is one thing that Democrats have been very effective at, is they say that this is a piece of legislation that is very friendly to women, because women are now always going to have maternity coverage, which was always something that they had to pay a lot of extra for beforehand, that they're going to get contraceptive care, that there's a lot of things that weren't normally covered in a insurance policy that are now mandated under the Affordable Care Act. And the Democrats have done a phenomenal job of tailoring that message to women, saying, look at how much we love you.
Yeah.
What they don't say is that they've now raised the price of healthcare so much that you can't even afford the policy that covers these things that you could have afforded before this act. Like, they just leave that out.
Yeah, well, why tell everybody the whole truth? And look, and here's the thing. As long as you're going to continue down the roads that the Republicans are going to continue down, look, the most important thing right now on everybody's mind is the economy, is jobs. That is the number one issue. I mean, that goes across gender, across race, across everything. Everybody just wants to be able to have a job to be able to support themselves.
Republican strategists after this polling of Republican women have emphasized the need to reach white suburban women. Because they think that's going to be the messaging that helps them win elections.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, good job.
So they're basically going to change nothing.
We've taken a poll and the Republicans like it. We're going with it. Thanks.
I thought it was just the funniest thing that they're like, we're going to tailor our message to women by changing nothing.
Never mind. Never mind the fact that more people now are registering independent or third party than are registering either Democrat or Republican.
Especially in Florida.
In Florida, since 2010, out of the people that have the newly registered voters, 78% have been not Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah.
When Republicans have actually only gone up like a percentage, like 1%, and Democrats like 0.3%, and 17% for MPAs, or for MPAs and third parties. They lump them all together.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, listen, at the end of the day.
Beautiful, by the way. I love that.
This is so funny. Republicans are like, we're going to tailor our message to women and change nothing.
Yeah, we're just going to put the word women in front of it. Like, you know how much a consultant got paid for that, by the way? Like hundreds of thousands of dollars they got paid for
to
that.
say change nothing. And here's the thing is that Democrats have been very successful at painting the Republicans as the Republicans have this war on women. So Republicans' answer to that is we're changing nothing and we're going to target that to women.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, what the Republicans should do is say the Democrats are the ones that have a war on women,
right,
and explain why. Because of warrantless wiretaps. Because of, the problem is they can't go down that road because they believe it too. That's where they're the same.
That stuff too.
Yeah. They both have a war going on against women right now.
But in Florida, we have a very large prison population, and then we always talk about how the drug war has failed because they can't even keep drugs out of prisons. Apparently, they also cannot keep firearms out of prisons because 2 inmates in Columbia County up in North Florida had a few handguns smuggled into them, and they shot themselves to try to lessen their sentence by going into medical. I guess they think that there's medical leave in prison.
What the? Okay, first off, how do you get guns in prison?
Apparently, it's quite easy.
I guess. The second thing is, you're going to use said gun to shoot yourself. Now, here's the thing. You committed a crime in jail of grabbing the gun, and yet you think your sentence is going to go down because you used the gun to just shoot yourself?
They were trying to say that someone just walked by and shot them. Because apparently they didn't realize that the entire facility has cameras everywhere.
Wow.
Well, there was a reason these two guys were in jail.
Yeah, I mean, they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer.
No, they're not sharp even. I wouldn't even put them in the knife category. They're like a broken plastic spoon. There is not even,
and it's the rounded end of the spoon.
They're sporks with missing tines.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Man, some inmates. You know what? Those guys should run for Congress.
They'll win.
They'll win. They were both charged with 10 counts of introduction of contraband into a correctional facility, 10 counts of possession of contraband in a correctional facility, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of ammunition by a convicted felon. Now, you would think that there would be and I'm not advocating for more laws, but you would think that there would be a separate law for being an inmate with a gun, not just a convicted felon with a gun.
How did they get the guns in jail?
It was
Was it baked in a cake?
It was.
I heard that's the way you can do it.
It was in a Pop-Tart.
It was Cartwright's girlfriend, Catherine Lundrum, 28, was charged with the same stuff. She was arrested Tuesday morning. Basically, she was smuggling these things in, and it says that they were smuggling them in letters. So, here's the box of letters.
Wait a second here. So they would send a box of letters with a gun in there. What kind of gun was it?
They also smuggled in cell phones to communicate. These guys had cell phones, they had guns, they had drugs. They were selling drugs to other inmates.
It's amazing.
What exactly is the point of all this other than taxpayers now paying for their food and rent? because nothing about their behavior has changed. They're still doing the same things they were doing when they were not in prison.
Yeah, they were both in jail for burglary and theft. They had all this stuff smuggled into them. Now, this is the one thing that I didn't actually agree with in the story, which I actually thought that this was bad. They had cell phones. They had one of the girlfriends smuggled in cell phones for these guys, along with guns, because apparently security is a little lax.
You ain't kidding.
But the mother of one of the inmates was arrested for communicating with her son on the cell phone.
Well, interesting.
She didn't smuggle in the cell phone. She didn't, do any of it. All she did was, when her son called, she spoke with him, and she was also arrested.
She answered the phone.
She answered the phone. That was her crime.
Wow. These guys suck out loud.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I'm not even understanding this one.
She was definitely a threat to society. Not the fact that, you know what? I think maybe the officers that were on guard there and allowed the gun and the cell phones in, maybe they should have been, looked at a little sternly, not the mother who answered her phone.
Yeah.
You couldn't keep a gun out of your own jail. Let's not worry about the mom who answered her phone.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's move on to let's go to the ethics complaint here.
Well, let's go to a break.
Let's go to a break. We ran over a little bit.
All right, we'll go to a break.
We'll go ahead and do break now.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. When we get back, we're going to discuss the carnival known as the
Governor's Race.
The Governor's Race. So hopefully you will stay tuned for that carnival. We'll be back. You're listening to Liberty Underground. Oh, and if you'd like to call the program, 1-800-525-4032. We'll be back.
Hi, this is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with cameras. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com. telecom.com/Liberty Underground.
You know Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
Welcome back to Liberty Underground. Hopefully everybody's doing well on a Friday afternoon or a Friday morning or mid-morning or whatever time of the day you would like to call this time of the day. Then welcome aboard.
And if you're not listening live and you're listening on the recording, then whatever time it is.
Yeah, whatever time it is. Good evening. 3 o'clock in the morning, you've been drinking all night, you want to hear the show, go ahead with it. All right, so let's get into more of the news.
Are you saying that people need to be drunk to listen?
Maybe.
I recommend it.
I would say you probably want to have a shot or two of Jack. Take a little shot in there, go with it. Not that I'm advocating that, be 21 or older. Republicans file ethics complaint against Charlie Crist over 2010 appointment.
Okay, now this has to be the most absurd thing. Like, talk about the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, listen, nobody, the Republicans should never, ever be telling anyone that they violated some kind of ethics.
Yeah.
But the complaint comes in, and I'll go through the complaint, is that at the end of Charlie Crist, he was about, 5 days from being out of office. He appointed Joseph Linehan to a seat as a judge in Southwest Florida, who was a partner at Morgan & Morgan.
Yeah.
It was at the same time that he was at talks with Morgan & Morgan to go over there and work for them when he was done being the governor.
Okay, with the perception of that is definitely impropriety.
Yes. So the perception is that he appointed this person with the promise of a job at the law firm.
Yeah, which honestly, the Republicans have a point here. Look, it is the teapot calling the kettle black, but they have a point here, though, because what did he do when he went to Morgan & Morgan? They ended up putting his face on all the billboards all over the state of Florida, which I actually do think is, at this point, they should take him all down because he's running for governor.
Right. And they should take him down because he's running for governor, but they haven't yet. But, there's no smoking gun here. Like, it's not like there's an email or a letter that says, now that you've made that appointment, you're hired here. Like, there's nothing that meant that one was the other, although it definitely looks like that, and I'm not going to say it's not. But Rick Scott pled the fifth 75 times to avoid going to jail.
Well, look, when it comes to ethics complaints, like we can do, honestly, the citizens of the state of Florida should be doing an ethics complaint against all of the elected officials, whether they be Republican or Democrat, for the most part. Like 90% of these guys should have ethics complaints on them because of what they do up in Tallahassee. And here's the thing: are you saying that Corcoran going from a lobby, going from office to a lobbying firm and lobbying for legislation and getting paid to do it, like, are you saying that is somehow avoiding the ethics complaint? Or the fact that Will Weatherford wrote a book and got paid all this money to write the book from the state of Florida, or again, I understand your point about the ethics complaint thing about these guys are the teapot calling the kettle black. All of them do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, is that none of these people have a right to complain about each other.
Yeah.
We all, as people, have a right to complain about all of them. Listen, Will Weatherford was taking, $40,000 a year from Wilton Simpson as a consultant, and nobody knew what he did.
He didn't even know what he did.
He didn't even know what he did when they questioned him. He was like, I work with clients.
Well, the thing is, here's the thing.
Checks.
I actually think that Wilton Simpson did know what he did, but he didn't want to admit what he did.
Right.
Right.
Neither Wilton Simpson nor Will Weatherford knew what his job description was when asked.
Yeah.
I don't know. I own the company. I just write him checks. Well, I just cash his checks. Thanks. They had no idea. Richard Corcoran, who's the slated to be the Speaker of the House in 2018. His brother is one of the largest lobbying groups in Tallahassee, Michael Corcoran.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rick Scott pushes for legislation that's going to drug test all state employees. His wife owns the second largest drug testing company in the state of Florida. All of these guys, like I said, Rick Scott pleaded the fifth 75 times in the Medicare fraud case.
Yep.
So they all are just ethically corrupt, Jim Greer.
Are you telling all that?
None of them have any right to complain about ethics violations on any of them. Honestly, the people really, it is ethically corrupt to vote for any of these people anymore.
Pretty much.
You know what the ethics violation is? A vote cast for either one of these two.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, either Rick Scott or Charlie Crist. Look, and I absolutely love the people that will come up to me or come up to other people and talk about how there's no way that we can have Crist in office again, right? That you can't support Wiley. We got to support Rick Scott on this because Charlie Crist would be horrible. It's unfortunate that the facts of the matter do not fly in totally fly in the face of that. Because if you want to talk about fiscal conservatism, let's talk about, being fiscally conservative. Neither one of them are. So let's just make sure that we lay that part out right now. Right. That neither one, Rick Scott or Charlie Crist, are fiscally conservative people. But if we're going to go into the lesser of two evils category, Crist wins.
If you're going just on fiscal conservatism.
Yeah, if you're going just on fiscal conservatism, Crist wins.
Crist wins.
He wins that one. Because since Rick Scott's been up there, how much money has he raised the budget by?
$11 billion.
How much did Crist raise the budget by?
$3 billion.
There you go. Now, there could have been reasons for all that stuff.
And there was.
It doesn't change the fact that neither one of them went negative. They both went more money.
Right. There was never a cut.
Yeah, never a cut. Rick Scott has cut nothing since he's been up there. As a matter of fact, what Rick Scott has done, though, and let's go into the civil liberties aspect or respecting the Constitution, he had a sheriff removed who was actually reinstated because he argued it in court and won.
Right.
It's not because Rick Scott saved the day. Rick Scott was part of the removing Sheriff Nick Finch from Liberty County.
Yes.
Over what Sheriff Nick Finch was legally allowed to do.
Right.
Which was to defend the Second Amendment, something Rick Scott doesn't know anything about.
Rick Scott signed the law that would strip Second Amendment rights from returning veterans.
Yes, that's what Rick Scott has done. So if we're going to go down the road, let's go down the road. Let's talk about this. So for anybody to tell me that Rick Scott is better than Charlie Crist, or if Charlie Crist is better than Rick Scott, you're just not paying attention.
Charlie Crist was chain gang Charlie.
Yeah, he is the flip-floppiest flip-flopper that ever flipped a flop.
Well, let's just go down this. Charlie Crist is now on his apology tour on, how he supported the constitutional amendment to define marriages between one woman and one man.
Yeah, he signed that stuff. Rick Scott didn't do it. Well, Charlie did that.
He didn't sign it. It was a constitutional amendment, but he supported it.
He supported it. I'm sorry.
He was a very large proponent of it. He also said that that a child should not be raised in a home that doesn't have a man and a woman, that it has to have, that it shouldn't be in a same-sex home.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you disagree with that and you think that it shouldn't be that way, then you can't vote for Charlie Crist because he's not your guy. Now, here's the thing. He is now... Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Now he's come back on and apologized for that. Charlie Crist was also the one that signed much more stricter marijuana legislation. He actually made it a larger crime when Kathy Jordan was arrested and raided in her home. So this person who is now on the campaign trail saying how he believes in medical marijuana is the same person that was putting medical marijuana users in jail at much stricter rates, much stricter terms when he was governor.
Yeah. Again, it's not what they say, it's what they do. What Charlie... Again, you don't just get the name Chain Gang Charlie. You got to earn that one. That's an earning one. Now, he may be trying to take away, and he's not that guy anymore, but then again, you got to look at what he did when he was in office. Now, I ain't telling you to vote for Rick Scott. I'm telling you to vote for Adrian Wiley. I'm telling you that you do not... Neither one of these two individuals, and I'll use that term because we're on the air, neither one of these two individuals, neither Rick Scott, the current Republican governor, or Charlie Crist, the former Republican governor, deserve your vote. They just don't. And they don't because they're both authoritarian psychopaths. Now, Chris may have a better tan, and the hair may flow a little bit better than Uncle Fester. But it doesn't change the fact that when this guy's up there, he acts just the same way. He just didn't own a healthcare company in the meantime.
Yeah, Rick Scott has targeted small businesses and basically closed entire industries. The internet cafe ban last year, which closed an entire industry, losing 14,000 jobs. And then he touts all these jobs that he's created.
They don't even exist.
By giving corporate billionaires $84 million in tax incentives.
And then those same billionaires give him millions of dollars to his PAC.
Right.
Isn't that funny?
But, and I have to say, John Romano, who I do not agree with his politics, summed up Rick Scott's hiding and dodging from questions just beautifully over this week on Wednesday. Like I said, I do not agree with John Romano's politics at all. He's very leftist. He wants answers on why we didn't do a Medicaid expansion. And, he likes big spending and he wants more of it. But what he said, he says, let's face it, the man's default setting is mute.
Yep.
Yeah.
He says his lack of accessibility has become so ingrained it almost seems routine. And if reporters do actually get close enough to ask him about a specific topic, Scott pretends to have heard some completely different question involving butterflies, rainbows, or jobs.
Yeah.
That is an awesome description.
That is a great description of him.
And listen, and he goes into why his PR firm is going to tell you that it's political expedience because he can't have any major gaffes if he sticks to his talking points. And listen, Rick Scott sticks to his talking points almost to the point of insanity.
Yeah.
As people are asking, so what is your plan with your grandchildren this weekend? Well, I brought a lot of jobs to Florida.
Look, this guy sticks to his talking points like they are super glued on his forehead. I will give Rick Scott credit. He does not go. It doesn't matter what you say to him. Hey, how was your day today? It doesn't matter. It's every time. It's the same
Florida
thing.
standards.
Yeah.
There are standards.
They're Sunshine State standards.
There are
It's not
standards.
Common Core.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
He sticks to those talking points, and it does make him sound absolutely insane. I mean, he literally sounds completely inept when someone's asking him a question about, marriage equality, and he's telling you the most important thing in Florida is jobs, and I've brought jobs. What?
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. I am looking forward to the debate when Adrian's on stage with him. Because Adrian is going to wipe the floor with Rick Scott and Charlie Crist. He is going to wipe the floor with them. I mean, these two are so vulnerable, it's not even funny. It's the reason Rick Scott won't answer any questions because he is very vulnerable. And Charlie Crist is equally as vulnerable because some people actually remember the history of him voting. Like, some people actually remember that what he says is not what he has done. And what he has done is completely different. I mean, honestly, I still don't know if they're even going to let this guy on stage. They're going to have to figure out a way to not have him. They'll arrest him before he walks in the door or something. I don't know. You cannot let Adrian on stage with these two guys because he will wipe the floor with them. And both of them know it. Both of them know it. They know that they are open for exposure. If it's just the two of them, they got to play by their, left-right rules.
Well, because they're both going to stick strictly to talking points regardless of the question asked.
Might as well just play a commercial between the two at that point if you're going to do it.
If you just have the two of them up there, what a travesty for the people of Florida, because you're literally going to hear insanity ensue. Because you're going to get a question that neither one of them are going to answer. It's going to be like, how is your campaign going? I've brought jobs to Florida. I love medical marijuana. I mean, nobody's going to answer a question. It's going to be all talking points. They're not even going to, it's going to sound like they didn't even hear the question because apparently they've both gone deaf.
It's like they're running for judge. It's like they're running for judge. They can't answer any questions.
I can only tell you the same four things, and that's it.
And they've asked Rick Scott, do you support this, or do you support that, or do you oppose this, or do you oppose that? He never gives them an answer on even if he is support. Well, we'll take a look at him. We'll let you know.
Well, half the time he says, I brought jobs to Florida. You know how many questions have not been about jobs or the economy that I've literally listened to him say? Well, Florida's in a better position because we have new jobs.
Yeah.
What?
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. It's really, I'm just hoping they're not going to be wearing C-strings. That's all I'm saying.
But this is
Orange C-string jumpsuits.
this is what John Romano says at the end, which I think is just great. But refusing to show up, refusing to hear questions, refusing to act like a responsible public servant just makes it look as if he doesn't have faith in his own answers.
Yep.
For reporters who work in Florida, that's frustrating and mildly annoying. For voters who live in Florida, it should be outrageous and inexcusable.
Yep, and I agree with him. That's why I should vote for Adrian Wiley.
Yeah.
Because Charlie Crist does pretty much the same thing. You know, and if Romano has any integrity, Romano would put something like that out too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's not going to because he's in the bag for the Dems.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, and I don't agree with his politics at all, or his, what his policies. But at the end of the day, he was right on that one, and he had some great words in there, and he's absolutely right. Rick Scott just literally, and it is. I've seen him in so many interviews where it's like, I don't even think he heard the question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that angers me more is when a politician is asked a question and he doesn't answer the question.
Oh, that drives me nuts.
It drives me completely insane. I wish the reporter would say, okay, look, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start over. Mm-hmm. You're going to answer the question that you've been asked, and that's it.
Well, and at this point, and we have heard this before, but John Romano is actually saying it outright. And we've heard this before when Adrian goes into an interview that reporters are surprised that he'll just answer anything and he doesn't have like a this is the only thing you can ask. But it said when Rick Scott will sit down for television, he only sits down for television interviews only. And he only allows hand-picked subject, hand-picked questions, and hand-picked reporters.
Yep. Again, what we have to do as a society is not reward this type of behavior. Mm-hmm. If you're a politician and this is how you act, then I don't care who the other people are. You cannot support that person. Because if you do vote for that person, then you are saying in essence that behavior is okay with you. And we can no longer let that happen. Look, we've been doing this for too long. This is how we got to the point that we're at right now. It's why you guys got like guys like David Jolly. It's why you have people like Rick Scott. It's why you had Charlie Crist before this. You cannot have this. This is the problem. You need honest debate of the issues. Again, I have much more respect for somebody that will tell me they disagree with me, explain why in a real and substantive nature, and say, look, that's the way I am. That's the way I stand on it. There's more of an opportunity for me that I will vote for somebody that is like that. As long as they're again, there's certain things that you can't disagree with me on here, but there's certain things where I don't agree with your method on this one, but I think that you're coming from an honest place. I think you're a good person, so I can let that one go when it comes to voting.
Judge honesty over a lot of other issues.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I will definitely judge the honesty part, because the last thing you need is a dishonest person up there.
Yeah, I'll vote for somebody who is disagreeing with me honestly over someone who is agreeing with me in a lie any day.
Yeah, especially one that you know. Like Jolly. Look, it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that David Jolly was lying to us, all right? It did not. It was not like something we're going, well, we'll see what happens. Like, I wasn't shocked when he voted the way he voted.
Right.
Because we knew he's a member of the military-industrial complex. That's what this guy's going to do.
I watched what he was lobbying for.
Yeah. So, again, folks, when you're listening to this show, whether you're a libertarian or not, first off, you should be a libertarian. But if you're not a libertarian, don't give Rick Scott or Charlie Crist your vote, man. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. You know these guys are wrong for you. It's almost like I'm talking to a woman, you know what I mean? Like, they're wrong for you, baby. Adrian will treat you well, man. Don't go down with Crist and Rick Scott, man. They're lying to you.
He's just not that into you.
Yeah. Exactly. They're going to leave you as soon as that night's over, man. They're going to get theirs.
It's like
and
you're
then
talking to your daughter.
Yeah.
Well, ma'am, thank you, ma'am.
So vote Wiley for governor and vote Lucas Overby for Congress and Tony Casso for state house and all the other elections. We'll get into the other stuff later on. At any rate, though, let's. Week's the feds have now lost their minds.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I actually wanted to end on a really just funny note. The feds put up a sign, and I
hold on. No. Read the sign.
Okay. This is in Brooklyn. It says, feral cat colonies are prohibited on federal property.
What is a feral cat colony?
Stray.
All right, so stray cats. This is for stray cat colonies are prohibited from federal property. Now, do stray cats have owners?
No, that's why they're stray cats.
Okay, now read the rest of the sign.
To ensure the health and safety of visitors and to protect habitat for native species, including shorebirds, small mammals, and reptiles, this colony will be dismantled on Friday, June 13th. We encourage those that have created this colony to remove it and the cats prior to that date. Thank you for your cooperation in maintaining the health of our ecosystems.
Okay, that's a real sign.
It's a real sign.
Okay, look. Nobody made the feral cat colony because it's a bunch of stray cats.
The stray cats made it.
They put up a sign for people, for animals.
They put up the sign for the cats.
Yeah, they put up the sign for the cats. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this or not, and maybe the government doesn't know this, so whatever the agency is, we ought to be able to call this agency up and give them this information, because maybe they're not aware. Maybe they were Common Core trained. The cats, they can't read.
Right.
They're not able to actually process the words on that piece of paper. So putting up a sign doesn't really do you any good, considering that cats don't read. Now, they wasted government money for this, by the way.
I totally disagree with that. Cats can read and understand English. They are just above us and refuse to speak it. They can totally read that sign and will ignore it.
They'll pee on it.
You know, it's the fun, you know, like when you see an eviction notice and it's like you have until this date to get out. I mean, I'm assuming that there's some law that says that when you're evicting animals, you have to notify them.
There has to be a notification in a timely fashion.
Like you have to post notification for, 14 days.
Silly government.
I just, and
it was in New York too.
It was in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
And they and listen, the cats have come there. They're starting to eat the shorebirds and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the notice is ridiculous. The cats can't read.
Well, and why wait? Just go do it now. And we're waiting till Friday the 13th, so it's just as spooky as it possibly can be.
Maybe they, just in case the cats wanted to move, find another place to colonize, call their own.
Yeah.
If they would
Jersey will take them.
Maybe they were giving them time to get on welfare programs and get into a housing project.
Clearly, those cats need to go to New Hampshire for the Free State Project.
Obviously, the cats should be going to New Hampshire for the Free State Project. Again, folks, we can't make this stuff up, man. We're only telling you what it is, man. Again, if you like big government, then
this is what you get.
Yeah.
You get notices to cats.
And and we've had public education going on in this country for a long, long time, and this is some of the ramifications of this public education that we've had here. Again, folks, I really don't know how you can make the case for big government anymore, considering that the government is putting up signs for stray cats and asking them to read them.
Asking them to move.
Yeah, please move. Because you're messing up the birds. Now, did the birds have something saying that we heard your complaints and your strongly worded letters, and we are now working to get rid of the cats from killing all of you?
The government made a strongly worded letter to cats.
You're right. The government made a strongly worded letter to stray cats.
Are dogs allowed to live there?
Probably.
It's
like
racist.
Dogs. Oh, no, it's totally racist.
It's totally racist.
No, it's totally racist, though. They didn't say nothing about stray dogs in there.
Sorry.
I don't even know how you got to find some things to laugh at, because enough of it makes you want to cry, but you do got to find a couple to laugh at, and this one actually is kind of funny to laugh at. When you first said this, I really thought you were getting it from The Onion.
I know.
I really thought you were going to get it from The Onion.
I actually had to go and make sure that the story was real before I would put it in the show prep, but it is absolutely real. The thing is real. And now the officials have said that they did this so that if anyone wanted to come take the cats, they could. But that's not how the sign is worded.
Yeah. No. That is not how the sign is worded. And who's going to go pick up a bunch of stray cats? Here's the thing. Don't you have Look, I don't advocate for all these government agencies, but in lieu of that, don't they have an agency that's in charge of this?
Yes.
So you're going to put up a sign anyway? If you took so much to put up the sign, shouldn't you just bring the agency that you've tasked with doing this out there to do it?
No, because the dog catcher said, I'm a dog catcher, not a cat catcher. It's not in my job description.
It's not my jurisdiction.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, there you go.
And I'm sure that there's some law that says, eviction processes must be taken on all land.
Yeah, I guess. All right, well,
Here's a great new name for the Redskins: the Washington strongly worded letters.
Yes. All right, guys, that's the show for the week. I appreciate everybody listening. The website is 17. Yeah, I apologize. No, I apologize.
I like it, Stray Cats.
All right,
Chinese food.
Yes. If you want to go to our website at 1787network.com, we will see you guys. Well, Adrian will see you guys next week. He's going to be here 3 hours unabated. Hopefully, we make it to get back from Ohio. Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.